as they take on the Cincinnati Reds. Happy opening day. Bob Brentley and Len Casper with you. A lot of hoopla here in Cincinnati every year for opening day. President Bush is here. He's going to throw out the ceremonial first pitch in a couple of minutes. What are they thinking about in the Cubs clubhouse right now? I'm sure the butterflies are flying around.
Yeah, they are. This is one of those games. It's an event baseball game. Opening day is always an event, much like the postseason. There are probably a lot of nerves down there, but once that first pitch is thrown, everything is back to business.
Aaron Harang will throw that first pitch for the Reds. Carlos Zambrano gets the start for the Cubs. And the president coming up with the ceremonial first pitch. We'll have all the action from a cool, windy, Great American Ballpark.
Sign up now and get the Sex and the City Scoop, a free weekly newsletter emailed right to you. It's hot. It's interactive.
Yes.
What's your favorite episode? Your weirdest dating story? The hottest new fashion trend?
You live for fashion.
Log on to SuperstationWGN.com and sign up now. Sex and the City, every night at 11 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Jeff Bridges, Tommy Lee Jones. The action won't stop till the bomb goes off. Blown away.
Friday at 7:30 Eastern.
Our exclusive Beechwood aging produces a taste, a smoothness, and a drinkability you'll find in no other beer.
At Geico.com, you can handle all your car insurance needs online. It's so easy, a caveman could do it.
Seriously, we apologize. We had no idea you guys were still around.
Yeah, next time maybe do a little research.
Gentlemen, are we ready to order?
I'll have the roast duck with the mango salsa. I don't have much of an appetite, thank you.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Hey, Cubs fans, keep your eye on the ball.
Way back, and it gets out!
Every time a Cubs player hits a homer at Wrigley, you could be a winner. It's the Southwest Airlines How Far Did It Fly home run contest. After every Cubs homer, write down the distance along with your name and address and send it to WGN TV. 10 winners will receive 2 round-trip tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination. For every Cubs homer, ask yourself, how far did it fly? From Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the Chicago Cubs.
President George W. Bush is here at Great American Ballpark, and earlier met Ken Griffey Jr. and the rest of the Cincinnati Reds, and has a parting gift as well. Team picture. We believe the president met with the Cubs in their clubhouse as well. He is a huge baseball fan, and of course security extremely tight this morning and into the afternoon, as the president is here to throw out the first pitch. The first sitting president ever to throw out an opening day first pitch in the Queen City, and the second sitting president to participate in that pregame ceremony here in Cincinnati. The weather today, it is cool. The wind might be pretty gusty at times. It looks like it's blowing out, but right now it's dry, and that's the key.
Keep it dry. We had a flyover just a moment ago. 4 helicopters cruised over the stadium here, Great American Ballpark. Quite the festivities. A lot of the fans are still hung up out in the security line outside the stadium. But Commissioner Seelig has come out of that first base dugout. I believe that was Commissioner Seelig I just saw down there. A lot of dignitaries here at the ballpark today, including, as you mentioned, the President of the United States.
Reds' new owner, Robert Castellini, along with the commissioner and the president, ready to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. And he is the 4th sitting U.S. president to attend a regular season Cubs game. President Taft back in 1909, President Reagan in '88, President Clinton in 1999. And President Reagan spent time with Harry Carey in our WGN broadcast booth as well. President Hoover attended a World Series game 1929. The Cubs and the Philadelphia Athletics.
The recipient of the Purple Heart and the Bronze Star with Valor. our third guest.
And when we get
is a
started
Gold
today, it'll be
Star.
Carlos Zambrano in his second consecutive opening day start for the Cubs. Aaron Harang for the Cincinnati Reds. And Dusty Baker talked about the butterflies before the game, and he said that's natural. He's had it every opening day since he was a player, and you would assume every player feels that. And I guess when you don't feel that, you have to worry about it.
Then you have to be concerned whether you should even be here or not. Even Greg Maddux, guy that's sat through a lot of opening days, was in the clubhouse very early this morning. I had a chance to sit down and talk to him a little bit. He was nervous for opening day, so that's a great sign. You know, one thing about opening day is obviously a lot of festivities going on here today, and we're all very happy to be here, but the starting pitchers have to be a little concerned about their warm-up routine. There are naturally going to be delays, and both pitching coaches keeping a close eye on their starters today.
Let's throw it down to the field. Jason LaRue, a Texas native, will catch the first pitch.
2006, opening day, ceremonial first pitch. Please welcome the President of the United States, George W. Bush.
Well, Jason Lure's on the disabled list, but he was going to catch the first pitch this afternoon. He had right knee surgery a week ago, and he's from Houston, Texas. And the president doesn't bounce it up there, does he?
No, he does not. As a matter of fact, that's the first time I've seen him throw a ball.
I called it a strike. Season opener coming up, the Cubs and the Reds from Cincinnati.
Searching other websites for low fares? Better get comfortable. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly nonstop from Chicago Midway to Long Island Islip for just $39. Purchased by May 11.
You are now free to move about the country.
My dearest Lisa, as we enter our first day apart, I already miss you terribly. Believe me, honey, it's no picnic out here. But don't you worry about me. Somehow, I'll get through it. And know in your heart, I will see you soon. Though, I just can't say when. Patrick.
You'll find it hard to come back. The 244 horsepower Pilot from Honda.
Yo, Bam here, gonna show you how new Right Guard Extreme Power Stripe works. Let's say this team represents odor, and this team represents the Power Stripe. Medic! What are you doing? Only Right Guard Extreme has the Power Stripe. It chops odor like a bad habit. So you smell great all day. I love you. Get straight! Get Right Guard! Get straight, get Right Guard!
Chicago Cubs baseball, brought to you by Budweiser. Crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer. By the Illinois Lottery. No matter how you play, play the Illinois Lottery. Have a ball. Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Chicago Cubs. And by Southwest Airlines. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, Southwest can get you there with over 3,000 nonstop daily flights to over 60 destinations. Visit southwest.com today.
Great to have you back here in Cincinnati. Fourth opening day for the Reds here in this ballpark. In fact, Dusty Baker, his first opening day experience in the big leagues was in Cincinnati way back when. as he begins his 4th year as a skipper of the Chicago Cubs. Jerry Narron is the Reds manager, his first full season. Dusty with 1,096 career wins. This is the final year of his contract. General Manager Jim Hendry's as well, and Dusty was asked before the game about security and whether or not that affects how he views this 2006 season.
You know, everybody's looking for security, but if you got faith, you're not really worried about security. You know what I mean? In our country, everybody's looking for security all the time, right? And really, how much security really is there? And security is what we got out here today, is with all these dogs and and they be checking my pocket knife when I walk through. That's security. Yeah.
Well, there is a lot of security here today, but I think the point is well made that you don't think about that stuff, especially when you put the uniform on, you get in that dugout. That's the last thing on these guys' minds.
Oh, the competitive juices start flowing, and the athlete or the competitor in all of them come out. You know, the last thing in the world a player or a manager or a coach thinks about during the course of a ball game is their contract status or where they're going to be next year. And Dusty's always been a guy, even as a player, that figured if you take care of business, you do your job the right way, things have a tendency to work themselves out.
The Cubs have not lost on opening day under Dusty. In fact, they have averaged 12.67 runs over their last 3 opening day games, all wins, and scored a Cubs opening day club record 16 last year in a big win in Arizona as Juan Pierre gets set to make his Cubs debut. Derek Lee, the defending National League batting champ. And the starting pitchers today, 14 wins for Carlos Zambrano last year, his 2nd consecutive opening day start. Aaron Harang with his first opening day start. Bob probably should have been over 500 with that earned run average.
Playing for a different ball club, I think Aaron Harang would have had a much better one-loss record. This guy's a tough competitor out there on the mound. He's 4-0 against the Cubs in his career. And a very unusual style of pitcher. He may go through the entire lineup the first time without throwing anything but a fastball. Tremendous command of his heater. He'll throw it on both sides of the plate. He'll elevate it in the strike zone. We may not see a breaking ball or an off-speed pitch from him until the 2nd time through the lineup.
Let's get this year's first Dusty Baker lineup, brought to you by Pepsi. The lineup we saw over the weekend in Vegas, 1 through 8. Juan Pierre, Todd Walker, and Derek Lee. Derek Lee loves hitting in this ballpark. Aramis Ramirez, a cleanup man. Jones, Barrett, Murton, Cedeno, and Zambrano. The numbers on the right, their averages from 2005.
Take a look at the Reds defensively. Adam Dunn in left. Ken Griffey Jr., comeback player of the year in center field, had a bang-up spring down in Florida. Austin Kearns over in right field. Edwin Encarnacion at third base. Felipe Lopez is short. Tony Womack, the veteran, former player of mine in Arizona, starting at second base for the Reds. Scott Hatteberg over at first base, replacing the mayor, Sean Casey. Javier Valentin behind the plate, catching the big right-hander, 6'7", Aaron Harang. Mentioned those numbers from last season, the 11-13 record, very deceiving. This guy's a tough customer. You talk to hitters around the National League, and this guy is very quietly blossomed into one of the better right-handers in the league. As I mentioned, pitching for a different team, the numbers may have been much better, but certainly opposing hitters respect what Aaron Harang can do out there on the mound.
Big Z getting ready. And Juan Pierre is going to step in. The Cubs have been looking for a solid, consistent, everyday leadoff guy, and they certainly believe they found one in Juan Pierre.
Talked to Juan in the clubhouse before the ball game today and told him I was really looking forward to this season. This is the first time in my career as a coach, a manager, or anything that I'm looking forward to watching Juan Pierre. As an opposition player or coach or manager, you don't like to see Juan Pierre come into town.
Throw out one number at you, career 394 on base percentage in day games for Juan Pierre. That'll bode well as a Chicago Cub. The crew chief, Jerry Davis, calling balls and strikes. And the first pitch is in there, a knee-high fastball from Aaron Harang, and we're underway.
Strike one is something you'll see a lot of from Harang. He's a firm believer in that get ahead in the count theory and work from there. You saw him after the strike one. He elevated a fastball. See if he throws a breaking ball through the early going here today.
50 degrees at game time. And Pierre hits it hard. Fair ball into the right field corner. Pierre with a chance possibly at a triple. He's around second on his way to third. And what a start for Juan Pierre in a Cub uniform. Boy, that is exciting. Into the right field corner, and what a way to start the 06 season.
Another fastball inside part of the plate. Juan gets that bat head out in front and hooks it just fair down the first baseline. The only question was whether it would get down into the corner or would it hit the bleachers and bounce back into the field of play. Once that ball got into the corner, Juan Pierre had sights on third base. You see him take a quick peek at Chris Spire. Spire waving him the whole way, and what a great way to start the season.
Todd Walker fouls away. Juan Pierre with his 49th career 3-base hit. He led the National League 2 years ago with 12. Last year had 13. He's not going to hit for a lot of power. He only has 9 career home runs. But you put one into the right field corner, it's usually ticketed for 3. Infield back for the Reds here in the opening inning. And it's quickly 2 strikes on Walker. Well, at one time, Todd Walker hit number 2 behind Juan Pierre with the Colorado Rockies. The 0-2 pitch. That is a fair ball. Cubs lead 1-0, and Walker around first. He's going to try for 2. Here's a throw by Dunn, and he's safe. So the Cubs have gotten familiar with both foul lines as Pierre hooks one into the right field corner for a triple. Walker goes the other way down the left field line for an RBI double.
Another fastball, this one up and out over the plate. Todd Walker with a nice piece of hitting, just goes with it, working those lines as you said. Juan reads it through the infield. He walks on home with the first run of the season. Todd Walker had to take a peek after rounding first base to see what Adam Dunn was doing down that left field corner.
Big swing and a miss from Derek Lee, who hit .358 with 8 home runs in his career here at Great American Ballpark. Going into action today, Aramis Ramirez right behind him in the lineup, .350 with 9 career home runs here. This place saw more home runs in any park in all of baseball last year. And Aramis led all of baseball in batting average in spring training, so he's ready to go. Derek got just 24 at-bats in spring training, 14 in the World Baseball Classic.
If you're a hitter and you don't like to come to this ballpark, there's something wrong with you. Number one, the ballpark is built for offense. The prevailing winds blow from right field out towards left center, helping fly balls hit that direction. Short porches down both lines, and the Reds pitching staff all adds up to a hitter's ballpark.
The kick and the 2-1 pitch, slice foul out of play. Triple and a double to start it, Bob.
The Sarge, Gary Matthews, said along with Gene Kleins that they were going to be very aggressive against Harang. I think Brad Radke was the only pitcher in the major leagues that threw more strike 1 pitches than Aaron Harang, so they know he's going to come right after the hitters. And with that in mind, the Cubs figure to be very aggressive today.
Here it comes again, just foul. We talked during the offseason about getting guys on base in front of Lee and Ramirez, and the Cubs have certainly done that here in the first inning. Another 2-2. This one's tapped foul. And it's very quiet in this ballpark. It's full, but eerily silent at the moment. Still 2-2 on Lee. Good eye, it's full.
A couple of sliders back to back there to Derek Lee. That one missing just off the plate away. Not a big sweeping slider, just more of a cut fastball than anything else that he tries to spot on that outside corner.
It's 2 R's, guys. Let's go. And he walked him. A terrific plate appearance for Derek Lee. First and second, still no outs. And here comes Ramirez.
You know, just watching Derek Lee at the end of spring training and in that particular at bat right there against Aaron Harang, he doesn't appear to be where he wants to be with his timing of his swing. But his eye for the strike zone is as good as it ever was. Laid off a couple of tough pitches there at the end of the sequence.
Now Ramirez. Excellent numbers last year, considering he missed the final month with a quad injury.
Like I said, if you're a hitter and you don't like coming to this ballpark, there's something wrong. Aramis Ramirez with gaudy numbers here at Great American Ballpark.
The 27-year-old right-hander deals outside edge, 1-1. Harang had a perfect spring, 4-0 with a 284 in 5 Grapefruit League starts, and has never lost to the Cubs. He's 4-0 in 7 career starts. Taking a lot of time here in the first inning. This one will get down in front of Dunn. Walker held at third. They're loaded. Throw gets away from Encarnacion, but not far enough for anybody else to advance. And Jock Jones making his Cub debut with the bases full and nobody out. What a start. Two career grand slams for Jock Jones. This will be his National League debut. His entire career prior to this year with the Minnesota Twins.
His heart is probably beating about 300 beats a minute right now. You know he would love to cash in at least a couple of these runs right here.
It's already 1-0, swing and a miss.
That's a pitch the Cubs hitters are going to need to lay off of. That fastball up there around the letters. Aaron Harang is not overpowering with this fastball, but he locates extremely well.
Kick and an 0-1 pitch. Left field and Dunn coming in. He dropped it. Walker will score. Everybody advancing one base. Adam Dunn got a glove on it, but could not come up with it. He played a lot of first base in spring training, but then the Reds traded for Bronson Arroyo. So Scott Hatteberg, the starter at first, and Adam Dunn back in left. That'll be an error on Dunn, but I believe you'll get an RBI for Jock Jones. Would have been a sac fly.
Now those big outfielders' gloves, you could see Dunn thought he had the ball in his glove. It hits out near the tip of the fingers. He doesn't even realize he missed the ball until he takes several steps, has to retreat and pick up the baseball. Of course, the runners had to hold. Derek Lee was about 5 or 6 steps away from the bag at second base, waiting to see if Dunn was going to make the catch, so no chance for him to score. Quick trip to the mound here by Tom Hume, the pitching coach. They're just trying to stop the parade here. Let's start over, take a deep breath. That's a nice piece of hitting by Jock Jones, too. Just kind of flicked that ball into left field. It was a sinking fastball down low and away. That's a pitch that Harang would like the Cubs hitters to try to pull, but Jock Jones did not oblige him. He went the opposite field and drove home the run.
Aaron Harang last year gave up just 7 runs in the first inning all year. Well, he's allowed 2, and the Cubs want a lot more. Still no outs, and it's 2-0 with Michael Barrett at the plate. Barrett to third. Encarnacion gets an out there. It was caught. So that is a double play. So Barrett's out on the line out, and Ramirez doubled off second. And that is a very difficult play for runners, because it was hard to tell whether or not he caught it. That could have been a triple play very easily.
Yeah, it could have been a triple play. If anybody could have got back to third base in time, Derek Lee was halfway down the line. Womack gets the Out at second base, Michael Barrett can't believe it. He hit that ball well, thought it was through into left field, but a nice play by Encarnacion to start the double play. Derek Lee, as I mentioned, had come almost halfway down the line at third, thinking the ball was going to go through. Fortunately for the Cubs, nobody at the bag at third, or that could have turned into a triple play.
Here's Matt Murton, his first career opening day start. Matt is the youngest Cubs opening day left fielder since 23-year-old Rafael Palmeiro opened the '88 season in left. Ronnie Cedeno, who was on deck, the youngest Cubs opening day shortstop since Sean Dunston in 1986. Both 23 years of age.
Tight strike zone behind the plate by Jerry Davis today. Hopefully Big C will be able to keep his emotions in check out there if he gets squeezed on some borderline pitches.
Rang gets the corner on that pitch, and it's 1-2. Matt Murton.
Just a little bit of tail on that ball, started just off the outside corner. Now, Murton's a guy that's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. He's a battler. He takes a lot of pitches. He knows he's going to be in the hole a lot, but has proven in his early career that he's capable of hitting with 2 strikes.
But Jock Jones took a couple of steps towards second. Aaron Harang faking to third. Jones able to scamper back with the help from Gary Matthews. You see the wind feathering the jersey of Aaron Harang. It is still blowing, and every once in a while it shifts a little bit. A long top of the first inning. Murton, the 7th batter of the frame. The Cubs with 2 runs in. Here's the pitch. 2-2. What Matt Murton does what Derek Lee does, and that is he stays his ground even with 2 strikes. He's going to take some called third strikes this year. But he rarely will expand his strike zone even with 2 strikes in the count. And Harang keeping an eye on Jones.
This particular situation for Matt Murton, he's going to be protecting the plate with 2 strikes, and a huge hole on that right side of the infield, with Jock Jones being held at first by Scott Hatteberg. I mean, Matt's natural swing is up the middle of the field or to the opposite field, and especially with 2 strikes, you're going to be a little more defensive, start that bat just a little bit later. He could roll one through that right side very easily right now.
He has labored here in the first inning. Cubs have been very patient. Murton swings a high drive. Griffey going back. This ball will get out. Matt Murton in his first career opening day at bat with a 2-out, 3-run homer. So we've seen a triple, a double, a walk, a single, an error, and a 3-run homer. 5-0.
You have to love starting the season this way offensively. The Cubs have hit for the cycle here in the first inning. A breaking ball that stayed up and out over the plate, and we've talked about Matt Murton all spring and into the end of last season. How he stays up the middle of the field. That was a breaking ball. He just went right with it to straightaway center field and got it about 3 rows up into the bleachers out there.
Well, the big question coming in, would he be able to hit for enough power as a corner outfielder? He hit 7 home runs last year in the big leagues, including 6 in the final month.
He's leading the National League in home runs right now. Very understated, low-key. Doesn't get too excited, never gets too down. Tremendous attitude to have.
The red head taking the Reds starter deep. 5-0. And what you really love about that home run, it came after that double play. A ball that was hit hard to third as the Cubs were trying to add on. And it's always a good sign when the starting pitcher at least gets out of the dugout at the top of the first inning, and Carlos Zambrano's in the on-deck circle.
Well, you hear me say this many times throughout the season, and it doesn't apply as much to Carlos as it does to other pitchers, but you want to get Z up to the plate this inning if possible, so you can start over fresh with Juan Pierre, your leadoff hitter, leading off the second inning. Big at bat here for Ronnie Cedeno.
Popped it up. Tony Womack coming in. What a first inning for the Cubs offense. They get 5 big ones. Matt Murton caps it off with a 3-run homer. Pierre started it with a triple. Todd Walker followed that with a double. And the Cubs get 5. Carlos Zambrano coming up.
When your in-home disasters become America's biggest laughter, we've got it all caught on tape. Every weeknight, you get all the hilarious moments of AFE. Even when things go extremely wrong, laughter makes it oh so right. It's the cranks, pranks, and all-out stupid maneuvers that make Monday nights a splash. Join Tom Bergeron as he brings you the ultimate in reality television.
Common sense is the enemy of comedy. My new motto, stop thinking, start taping.
It's a knockdown, flipped around good time. So when life gets a little crazy, remember to take some time to laugh. America's funniest home videos. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on Superstation WGN. It's great to be home.
Moesha's holiday wish.
Where's your Christmas spirit?
Is to not have to work.
I have a candy cane on us, Gramps.
But Santa has other plans.
We're going to stay here until my demands are met.
It may be the night before Christmas.
The alleged gunman is holding 4 class act employees.
But in this house,
we're being held hostage.
No one is stirring.
Good heavens. This is Santa Claus.
You're a disgrace to your profession.
St. Nick's got a bone to pick. Next, Moesha.
Today at 5 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Well, the Reds led the National League in runs last year. They're going to need a lot of runs to get back in this one today. Tony Womack, former Cub, leading it off. Felipe Lopez had a great year offensively. Griffey, the comeback player of the year in the National League. Adam Dunn at left. Edwin Encarnacion at the hot corner. Scott Hatteberg, the Reds' new first baseman. Austin Kearns, Javier Valentin, and Aaron Harang.
And here's how the Cubs take the field defensively. Brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Chicago Cubs. Murton, Pierre, Jones across the outfield. Ramirez, Cedeno, Hairston, and Lee across the infield. Michael Baird behind the plate, and Carlos Zambrano getting the opening day start here for the Cubs. Moment to reflect out there behind the mound before he climbs that hill and goes to work. 14-6 last season, a 3.26 ERA in 33 starts. Held opponents to a .212 batting average.
Tony Womack getting the start at second base. The Reds in a similar situation as the Cubs. They have 3 guys who will see time at second base. Rich Aurelia and Ryan Friel, both right-handed hitters. And Zambrano starting 2-0 on Womack. To Womack is a strike. Tony took a step toward first. Switch hitter Lopez next, then Griffey. Wind in the pitch and a leadoff walk. Interesting to note, Carlos yesterday, when asked about what he's focusing on this year, said fewer walks. And in 19 spring innings, he walked just 4. But a leadoff walk here in the first inning. And the president sitting with the Reds front office people. And their new owner is Robert Castellini. They have a new general manager as well, Wayne Krivsky, who was hired not too long before the spring training. So they've had to make some moves. We mentioned the Willie Mo Pena trade with Boston. Bronson Arroyo will start on Wednesday. They got him from the Red Sox. Big key for Carlos is obviously to get through this first inning, right? Just kind of get this one out of the way. His team has given him a big lead. And this is an offense that certainly can score runs in bunches.
Well, that sinker ball should serve him well in this ballpark. Obviously, balls hit in the air have a chance, especially with the wind blowing the way it is today. So it would behoove Carlos to keep that sinker down around the knees, get a lot of ground balls, and let his infield defense work behind him.
Lopez led all National League shortstops in home runs and RBIs last year, won the Silver Slugger, and was an all-star. Womack with terrific speed, 27 steals last year, but with a 5-run deficit for the Reds, certainly will slow down their running game. Lopez bounces it in the hole right side and through, so the Reds with their first 2 men on. And here comes Griffey.
Ben Griffey Jr. wearing number 3 this season. He wore number 30 last year. He's worn number 24 before in his career. He switched to number 3 this year, he says, because he has 3 children. So if he and his wife should happen to be blessed with another child, he'll probably wear number 4 next year.
Starts the year tied for 12th on the all-time home run list with 536. He's tied with Mickey Mantle. He got off to a slow start in 05. He hit 1 home run in the first month, and it was right at the end of the month. But what a strong finish.
And by all reports had a great spring training.
I would say hit 455 in spring training and 524 in the World Baseball Classic.
And really was a leader in that World Baseball Classic. Once again, according to reports, he was the first guy at the ballpark, took a lot of extra batting practice trying to get ready for the WBC games. And a lot of his teammates that saw Junior setting the example by getting out on the field early, taking the extra hitting, started to follow that example. They called him the Pied Piper.
Zambrano with a 3-0. Griffey was not going to swing at it no matter what.
And in some ways, it's understandable that Junior had such a good spring and is hoping to have a good start to the regular season. This is the first offseason in the last 4 that he's not been rehabbing an injury in the offseason.
Well, not the start here in the first inning that Carlos wanted. There's a 5-0 lead, and the bases are loaded with no outs, and Adam Dunn, who had 40 home runs last year, is going to dig in. 2 walks and a single to start it.
Well, pitch count is always a factor when you're monitoring your starters, especially in the early part of the season. And Carlos running up a high pitch total already here in the first inning.
It's number 16, and he has yet to record an out. Cubs with a big shift. Cedeno is on the right side of second base, along with Todd Walker. A lot of room on the left side. High fly, Pierre coming over, now going back a little bit. He has it. Everybody tagging. Griffey sliding into second. Womack scores. Lopez at third, and it's 5-1. A sac fly from Adam Dunn.
done. Big guy, 6'7", 270 pounds, generates a lot of power even when he mishits a ball. He caught this one right out near the end of the bat. Cast it up in the air to straightaway center field. Juan Pierre looked like he was camped under it a couple of different times, had to continue to make adjustments until he finally made the catch. And good base running by the Reds. All three runners tagged up and advanced.
Zambrano trying to even up the strikes and balls. He's missed 10 times. He's thrown 8 strikes. Edwin Encarnacion took over at third base for the Reds in the middle of last year after Joe Rando was traded to the Padres. And he had a great spring. Good pitch.
Comebacker. You see Michael Barrett moving out onto that outside corner. Right there, just above the knees on the corner. Perfect pitch.
Wouldn't mind a strikeout right here, and he gets it. 2 down. Sinker ballers want contact on the ground right at a defender, but that's that spot where Carlos was looking to punch out Encarnacion with runners at second and third.
Cubs defensively were playing back, conceding the run. Encarnacion with a big 2-strike swing, and Carlos just blows a heater right past it. Yeah, those are those gimme RBIs. You'll see a veteran hitter in a similar situation, almost like play Pepper. Just put the ball in play. Anything that's on the ground to the infield is going to score a run. But Encarnacion trying to hit the big ball right there to be the hero on opening day, and comes up empty.
A 1-0 to Hatteberg, and he's behind yet again.
Carlos slowing himself down out there a little bit on the mound. I think he thought that pitch was close enough to be a called strike.
That's in there. You recall last year on opening day, Zambrano had a big lead. He could not get through the 5th inning in Arizona. And he was ejected as he was leaving. Dale Scott threw him out of the game. Zambrano ended up winning 14 games last year. And over the last 4 seasons, 5th in all of baseball with a .313 earned run average. His goal to win the Cy Young this year. I wouldn't put it past him. 3-2. The radar gun is not on right now. But we can speculate every once in a while. 3-2 is outside, so Zambrano's walked 3 in the 1st inning. Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, coming out to chat with Zambrano. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and Austin Kearns will be the hitter. There are plenty of individual tickets available for weekday games in April and May. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Cubs home opener will be Friday against the St. Louis Cardinals. We'll have it for you right here on WGN, 12:30 with Next Year Is Here leadoff man show at 1. First pitch at 1:20. Greg Maddux will pitch for the Cubs. And Jeff Suppan is scheduled for the Cardinals. Game 2 here Wednesday, Glendon Rush, Bronson Arroyo. So since '03, Zambrano 2nd in the National League. Fouled back by Kearns. It's the 1st inning of the 1st game of 162, but this is a pretty big at bat for Carlos Zambrano. It comes with this huge lead to start the game. If he can get out of this inning with only 1 run allowed, that would be a moral victory in more ways than one.
No doubt about it. Get his team back in the dugout, swinging those bats again. Carlos just rushed his delivery a little bit, like everybody else. We talked about the opening day butterflies, and certainly the starting pitcher could be victim of that as well. We know Carlos has been an excitable character in the past. He just needs to get under control out there, get into a good rhythm.
30th pitch of the first inning.
I mean, going into the season, the Reds were not real sure if they could keep other teams from scoring, but they knew they were going to score runs. This is very much an offensive ball club in an offensive ballpark. Another borderline pitch. Appeared to be just a little bit off the outside corner. Jerry Davis has called a small strike zone, but he's been very consistent with it.
Zambrano up against the ropes, but Kearns fouls it back our way, and it's 3-2. So the runners will get a head start with 2 gone. 3 walks, a single, and a sac fly here in the first for the Reds. The Cubs got 5 on 4 hits. 3 were earned, 2 were unearned in that first inning against Harang. Murton with a 3-run homer in that inning. 3-2 pitch, popped up, back out of play. Boy, right off the noggin of a fan. Let's hope he's all right. He's rubbing his head. He's okay for now. Man.
We hope he's okay. That cap doesn't provide a whole lot of protection against foul balls.
Hope he ends up with a baseball.
He'll end up with a baseball-sized knot on his head.
Pitch 34 of the inning. Deep to left. Murton back. He is at the warning track. He will leap. He made the catch. Matt Murton with a 3-run homer in the top of the first. And a leaping grab to end the bottom of the first. Zambrano pumped up. Woo, stay with us. We have 8 more of these coming up. After 1, it is 5-1 Cubs.
Jackie Chan is here. Remember, I'm not letting you do any stunts, okay? Mr. Chan! You want to make a movie with my client, Diet Pepsi?
Your client will be perfect.
We would insist on a stunt double.
No problem.
Watch my back, okay?
Look at you. You look great. Aren't you glad you didn't do the stunts?
We had a gig in half an hour.
But with my allergies, I wasn't all there. I just couldn't sing.
I told her, you need Claritin D.
And I got Claritin Clear. Claritin D relieved my worst symptoms and cleared my terrible congestion and sinus pressure fast. And I wasn't drowsy.
Told you, nothing works stronger, faster, or longer.
Live Claritin Clear.
On Da Vinci's Inquest.
How common is it for the police to use kids as informants? Every day since Caesar.
My business demands that I keep my client's confidence. It's hard to determine a definite cause of death without a skull.
I'm gonna prescribe something. Is it enough to kill me? I'm sorry. That's all I can do. When she goes to fix, what'll she do with the baby then?
Maybe she takes the baby with her.
This guy sleeps with the dead.
I want to know what you do here.
You tie them to the bed.
Da Vinci's Inquest, Tuesday night at 8 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Hello again. Seem like forever between now and then. You look the same. I mean, you look different, but you haven't changed. Funny to think how the time gets away. Funny how you take me right back again.
Well, we have a great highlight reel for the 06 season, and 6 outs have been recorded.
I'm exhausted.
A 33-minute action-packed first inning. It is 5-1 Cubs. Zambrano leading off the second, then Pierre, then Walker. during the break. I mean, you brought up just a great point. It's early, but.
It's early, but, you know, Matt Murton was doubted whether he could play defense at this level well enough to be an everyday player. He makes a tremendous run-saving catch against the wall in left field. It was doubted whether he was going to hit for enough power to play every day in a corner outfield position, and a 3-run home run. A heck of a first inning for Matt Murton.
And you know, no matter what happens the rest of the day today, he'll say after the game, just one day at a time. He's a very focused player, willing to learn. That ball hit hard, but a one-hopper to Womack, and Zambrano is out. And that's what Dusty talked about with this young lineup. This is the youngest Cubs opening day lineup since 1977. He said he's very excited about the youth. He said it's the youngest team he's ever had. He said they're going to make mistakes, but they're willing to learn. And he also brought up another interesting point that usually you get better health with younger players.
Get those fresh legs that seem to stay fresh throughout the season. And also that fresh attitude. The guys show up every day anxious to be at the ballpark. And as you said, Dusty's very fortunate in the young players that he does have on the roster are good students of the game. They love to learn.
Half swing, but he went around too far. 2 strikes on Pierre. Tripled and scored in the first inning. Harang's 0-2. He's just off the plate inside. Pierre hit just .222 in spring training, but none of that matters now. He's 1 for 1 when it counts. Popped up back of short. Lopez out. Dunn is in, and Dunn makes the catch. He hesitated. He thought Lopez was going to make the catch. And Felipe Lopez is extremely fortunate that there wasn't a collision, because Adam Dunn is like a Mack truck coming at you.
Well, and Adam Dunn has played enough outfield to know that that ball is going to carry further than it appears because of the wind here. It looked like he caught Lopez on the side of the head with his glove as he finally reached out to make that catch. Ball very nearly dropped in.
Walker with an RBI double and a run, his first time. He had quite an opener for the Reds in their final opening day at Riverfront Stadium / Synergy Field in 0-2. He went 3 for 4. Outside. Last year in Arizona, the Cubs scored 2 in the first, 5 in the second, and won 16-6. All kinds of base runners for both teams in the first inning. Starters trying to settle down here in the second. Harang already over 40 pitches. And Walker strikes out. That's a 1-2-3 second for Aaron Harang. Valentine Harang and Womack due up for the Reds in the bottom half.
Superstation WGN is the new home for 24.
This is who I am. This is where I'm from. This is what I believe in when the day is done. This is Budweiser. This is clear. Budweiser. The king is here. This is Budweiser. This is beer.
Crisp leaf lettuce, fresh vine ripened tomatoes, 100% USDA choice ground beef, handcrafted burgers, Ruby Tuesday.
Someone's gonna love you.
When your in-home disasters become America's biggest laughter, we've got it all caught on tape. Every Monday night, get 3 hilarious hours of AFV. Even when things go extremely wrong, laughter makes it oh so right. It's the cranks, pranks, and all-out stupid maneuvers that make Monday nights a splash. Join Tom Bergeron as he brings you the ultimate in reality television.
Common sense is the enemy of comedy. My new motto, stop thinking, start taping.
It's a knockdown, flipped around good time. So when life gets a little crazy, remember to take some time to laugh. America's funniest home videos. Every Monday night beginning at 7 Eastern on Superstation WGN. It's great to be home.
Well, Aaron Harang, a little 1-2-3 in the top of the second. We'll see if Carlos Zambrano can match him here in the bottom. After he walked 3, gave up a run and got some defensive help from Matt Murton in the first. Javier Valentin was a Cub killer last year. He had 545 with 4 home runs. Straightaway center, and it's deep. Pierre on his horse. Pierre looking at the barrier. He makes a catch. Jock Jones better be ready because he's probably next.
You mentioned Valentin being a Cub killer last year. Basically because of this, he gets a lot of fastballs to hit. He chases Juan Pierre all the way to the barrier, just to the left of the 404 mark. Able to get that left hand up there to protect himself, and a very awkward moonwalk off of the warning track out there.
But he nailed the landing. He stayed on his feet. Aaron Harang is not a very good hitter. That's putting it kindly. No player last year had as few hits in as many at bats. 2 hits in 74 ABs.
Wow. And the Cubs are not anticipating that he's going to pull anything against Carlos Zambrano. Matt Murton is way over into the gap in left center. Juan Pierre over into the gap in right center. And Jock Jones standing very near the line in right.
Second strikeout for Zambrano. And we had a visitor, an important visitor between innings. He couldn't stay and chat with us because he has a few things to do today. But President Bush, your old friend, stopped by. You have a history with President Bush.
Yeah, back in the 01 World Series, President Bush threw out the first pitch at a ball game there, threw a strike, and in the offseason came to Arizona on some business, and I received a phone call from his staff and was invited to go to dinner with the president at a Mexican restaurant there in Arizona. And quite enjoyable. Politics aside, President Bush is a heck of a baseball fan. And he has daughters the same age as my daughter, so we had a lot to share that evening. Yeah, under the most trying of circumstances, President Bush throwing out the first pitch in that 01 World Series at Yankee Stadium, fired a strike. Great story behind that. Before he went out to throw that first pitch, he went to the Yankees batting cage to warm up a little bit. Derek Jeter happened to walk by and said, "You better not bounce it because they'll boo you." So President Bush said he had some butterflies as he went out there to throw that first pitch.
1-2 to Womack, misses, and it's 2-2.
At that point, I just told him, heck of a pitch, Mr. President. You threw a strike. Of course, as you might expect, he was wearing a very bulky protective vest underneath that jacket. I'm surprised he could even get his arm up to throw a pitch, but threw a strike.
And of course, your team won that World Series in 7 games. Womack to right. Jones came in. Now it's over his head. Misjudged it. And Womack with extra bases. That's a 2-out double.
Another look at that great catch that Juan Pierre made earlier in this inning. And then Jock Jones gets fooled by how hard Tony Womack hit this ball. Most teams play Tony Womack real shallow in left field and pitch him away. He hits a lot of lazy fly balls to shallow left field, but he's extremely quick on fastballs from the middle of the plate in, as he proved on that pitch right there.
Strike on Lopez. He singled in the first inning. just off the inside corner, and it evens it up. We'll keep an eye on Jimmy Rollins this afternoon. The Phillies hosting the St. Louis Cardinals, and Rollins ended last year with a 36-game hitting streak. He'll try to keep that streak going this afternoon. The single season streak, the Joe DiMaggio 56-gamer will be there no matter what. But then you have the overall hitting streak, and DiMaggio holds that record as well. But Rollins could possibly pass it. Fair ball. Lopez didn't know where it was. Barrett picks it up, gets it to Lee. Inning over. A scoreless frame for Zambrano. 5-1 to the third.
Energy meets soda. Introducing Mountain Dew MDX. Be nocturnal.
Lean Pockets has only 7 grams of fat, has only 300 calories, has 0 trans fat, and he
Thanks, hon.
has no idea. Now Lean Pockets brand has a new crispier, cheesier crust. More nutritious, more delicious.
Come on, big push!
You did this to me! Every bite's a dream. The new lineup of Dream Pie Blizzard treats at Dairy Queen.
Sign up now and get the Sex and the City Scoop, a free weekly newsletter emailed right to you. It's hot. It's interactive.
Yes.
What's your favorite episode? Your weirdest dating story? The hottest new fashion trend?
You live for fashion.
Log on to SuperstationWGN.com and sign up now. Sex and the City, every night at 11 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Juan Pierre and the Cubs lead the Cincinnati Reds 5-1. And it's Derek Lee, Aramis Ramirez, and Jock Jones here in the third inning. There's been talk of a contract extension on the horizon for Derek Lee, his representative, chatting with the Cubs right now. And ideally, Derek wanted to have something done before the start of the season. But he said as long as things are going well, talks are progressing, he has no problem with them continuing. But if they keep going too far, he said maybe just wait till the season ends. The guess here, without any inside information, is to really work hard to get something done very soon.
Yeah, I would think so. You know, Derek Lee obviously is a very physically gifted player on the field, but he's also one of those guys that leads by example. And so many times when you offer a long-term contract to a player, it's more than just his numbers on the field. You have to see how he fits in with the organization. Is he the kind of guy that you want to tie up for your team for a number of years? And definitely, I agree with you, Len. Derek Lee is one of those guys.
This guy got a long-term extension that was locked up during BP before the opener last year. And he got off to a slow start, but then really turned it on in the middle of the summer. We'll see him gear up here for a 2-0 pitch. If it's to his liking, he'll take a mighty hack at it. It is, but he hit it on the ground. And Lopez will throw him out. Top of the hour. Let's pause briefly for station identification.
This is America's home for sports all year round. Superstation WGN.
Great to have you with us on opening day from Cincinnati. Bob Brenly, Len Casper, and our WGN sports crew. The first night game the Cubs will play will be Sunday, of all days. all matinees until then.
A sign of early season respect right there from Aaron Harang to Aramis Ramirez on the 2-0 count. We anticipate him gearing up and really letting it fly on a fastball. Harang threw him a slider.
Jones high and deep. Dunn is back. He's near the warning track, and he makes a catch as he bangs into that out-of-town scoreboard. Like that left arm or elbow didn't feel too good. The outfielder's making some nice plays in this one. Jones robbed of extra bases, 5-1.
His name is Dominic Da Vinci, and he's not your average coroner.
I speak for the dead.
They say dead men tell no tales, but no body escapes the inquest.
I want to find out what she knows. She knows something 100%.
Da Vinci's Inquest, Tuesday night at 8 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Hey, the guys are coming over to watch the game. Aren't you worried about them drinking all the Bud Light?
Not to worry. Look what I had installed.
The secret revolving wall. Dude, you're a genius.
Guys, hurry up! The magic bridge is back!
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Magic fridge. Magic fridge.
With over 1.5 million vehicle listings to choose from on Cars.com, you can find the right car for you. That's it. Find the right car for you. Cars.com.
Weeknights are great nights to be home on Superstation WGN. First, let Tim the Toolman Taylor improve your mood with 2 laugh-filled episodes of Home Improvement. Then stay seated for America's funniest home videos, where comic clips and embarrassing slips are all caught on tape. Be sure to make it home weeknights for a full hour of Home Improvement at 6, followed by America's funniest home videos at 7 on Superstation WGN. Your home for great comedy.
Jock Jones just missed on a deep fly to left. Still 5-1. Griffey, Dunn, Encarnacion due up for the Reds against Carlos Zambrano. Got a rough first inning, but got out of it with only 1 run allowed. Good start to this 3rd inning.
See the Ken Griffey Jr. shift. 3 infielders on the right side. That's why.
Short throw for Walker, 1 out.
Jock Jones making a bid for his first hit as a Cub. Maybe an extra base hit. Maybe a long ball. Not sure if that was a bat drop because he knew he got it or because he knew he didn't get it, but Adam Dunn goes all the way back into that out-of-town scoreboard, banged hard into that brace right there on the left elbow.
And a busted bat base hit. Zambrano didn't actually know where the barrel was, and it almost hit him. Well, he flinched, didn't he?
Yeah. Another exaggerated shift there for Adam Dunn, but somehow he managed to squeeze the ball through that right side of the infield. Zambrano just shatters the bat. Once again, hit out near the end of the bat.
For a 1-out single, Encarnacion fan to the first. Adam Dunn played much of last year with a broken right hand. Nobody knew about it until the offseason. He's a tough guy. He's a former football player. So if his left elbow's injured, he probably won't tell anybody. The 2-0 pitch swung on and missed. High hopes in New York for the Mets this year, and they lead the Nationals 3-1 in the 6th inning today. David Wright, exciting young third baseman with a home run. We're in the 3rd in Milwaukee. The Pirates and Brewers 1-1. J.J. Hardy has gone deep off Oliver Perez. Tapped foul, 3-2. And back on the Jimmy Rollins story, is it more impressive? How do you view it if he hits in 21 straight and ends up with an overall 57-game hitting streak over 2 seasons?
Well, he's had the entire winter to think about it, so that makes it impressive if he's able to accomplish that feat, that he had so much time to think about it and still finish it up.
Yeah, he's been asked about it, I'm sure, everywhere he's gone. The DiMaggio streak has kind of been considered the one that is as unbreakable as any in baseball.
It was always my goal to try to put together a 2-game hitting streak.
2 in a row. That was a good thing.
That was a real good thing. You might get to play that 3rd day. That's what I was shooting for.
4 walks early on for Zambrano. That's why he's thrown 60 pitches. Now, what is that there? I mean, Michael came out for literally 3 seconds.
Probably just to make sure that they were on the same page with the signs with the runner at second base. In the 1st inning, when the Reds got a runner at second base, Carlos was going into his stretch after the first sign that Michael gave behind the plate. That's a sure tip-off to the runners what signal the Cubs are using.
That is deep for Hatteberg, and it's a 3-run blast. And just like that, the lead is 1. The Reds last year finished 1st in the league with a club record 222 home runs. And a 3-run shot makes it 5-4.
A lot of the Reds fans bemoaned the loss of Sean Casey this offseason, but Scott Hatteberg will put up comparable, if not better, power numbers than Sean Casey. Casey would hit for a much higher average, of course, but Hatteberg is a guy that can drive the ball into the gaps and occasionally hit the ball into the seats, and would be a good fit here in Cincinnati.
So the Reds have negated most of what the Cubs accomplished in the 1st inning. On the flip side, Aaron Harang really seems to be settling in. He's retired 7 in a row. The Cubs are probably going to need some more offense today. And this is one of those days where Carlos is just going to have to battle and maybe not even think about those numbers. You get involved in a slugfest, all that matters is the W, not how many runs you give up. This is a very tough offense. Kearns late. 2 down here in the 3rd inning. 3rd strikeout for Zambrano.
Good hard sinker, starts at the knees and then just bottoms out. Kearns swings right over the top. Yeah, the big number is going to be the pitch count. He's up to 66 already in this ball game. 4 walks, 3 strikeouts so far in the game. Well, the last thing any manager wants to do opening day is extend your ace beyond the point of comfort.
He's going to come back on normal rest and pitch Saturday against St. Louis. With all the off days, Derek Lee just couldn't get it. And Valentine's 1 for 2. Five hits for the Reds.
You know, there's no easy way to explain why a certain hitter like Javier Valentin has great success against one ball club and is just an average player against the rest of the league. But certainly he looks extremely comfortable up there at the plate, and there's a way to make a guy uncomfortable. You know, I mentioned in his previous at bat when he flied out to straightaway center field, Juan Pierre making a nice catch up against the wall, that he gets a lot of fastballs to hit. That last base hit was on a breaking ball, but from the middle of the plate in where he could turn on it and hook it through that right side.
Ramirez at the edge of the grass at third. 1-2 on Harang. Ramos is back with a 1-2 count. Scott Hatteberg with a 3-run homer, making it a 1-run game. 2 Ks in the inning, but the big blast by Hatteberg makes it 5-4.
Give your gas card a break. Get a Southwest Airlines Fun Fare. Just $59 one way from Chicago Midway.
You are now free to move about the country.
What did you have for dinner?
Last night I had 36 saltine peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I had a deep fried onion ring loaf.
I had a block of baking chocolate.
I had wild salmon with whole wheat orzo pasta, spinach and carrots in a savory basil sauce.
It was one of those whole grain spa meals from Lean Cuisine.
Heart healthy whole grain spa cuisine from Lean Cuisine.
Meet one doctor with 0 patients.
I do not have a problem with anger. I have a problem with this stupid.
And one television host who's a real tool. Every Wednesday night, get your house calls and house balls with Becker and Home Improvement. Make an appointment for laughter with Becker and Home Improvement. It all happens Wednesdays beginning at 8 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
'2006 Chicago Cubs opening day baseball on WGN Sports from Cincinnati is brought to you by Budweiser. Bright, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer. It's a 5-4 game. And the Cubs need some more runs. They got all their 5 in the first inning, all their hits in the first inning. And it's Michael Barrett who lined into a 5-4 double play in the first inning. Checked his swing, but he went too far. Michael has really made defense and game calling a huge priority here in 2006. Worked very hard on those things in the offseason, and he hits this ball very hard. Deep to right center, and it's going to be off the wall. Almost got out. Stand-up double. Good start to the 4th inning after Hatteberg hit the 3-run homer.
Boy, baseball is so much a game of momentum. Fastball right down the middle of the plate. Michael drives it into the gap in right center. Ken Griffey Jr. gave up on that ball rather quickly. I thought he figured it was up into the seats, but it hits near the bottom of the wall in right center. Baseball's such a momentum game. The Reds, after hitting that 3-run homer back in the 3rd, seem to have gained a little bit of momentum. Hopefully the double by Michael Barrett and others here in the inning will take that momentum right back.
All right, what's next for Matt Murton? 3-run homer and a leaping catch out in left field already.
Well, normally you'd like to see Matt Murton hit the ball on the right side of the infield here, move Michael Barrett over to 3rd base. The fundamentals of the game.
Well, he is good at taking the ball the other way. I think a hitting coach He sees a guy for the first time who has a good idea of the strike zone and goes the other way. Well, those are two great things to have right off the bat. You can teach a guy to turn on a ball, pull a ball, and that power can come later. Those other two things are not as easy to teach. A swing and a miss, and Gene Clines loves working with Matt Murton.
We got here to the ballpark very early today because of the security concerns at the stadium, as you might imagine, and I heard bats cracking down in the batting cage by the Cubs clubhouse. And sure enough, Matt Murton, Ronnie Cedeno, Jerry Harrison were in there with Gene Clines. A little extra hitting in the cage before most of their teammates even had their uniforms on.
Matt played in 51 big league games last year. That is so important. A much different story if he had been just a late September call up and had 10 or 12 at bats. But getting that experience last year will really help him this year. Right back to the pitcher. Harang will throw to first. We talked to Matt Murton prior to this season about last year and what he expects in 06.
And the opportunity to be on an opening day roster, and especially in the starting lineup, there's nothing like that. And especially a home opener is going to be against the St. Louis Cardinals, so I'm sure the place is going to be double crazy because not only is it opening day for us, but it's with the Cardinals. So we look forward to it. I think that if we go out there, like I said, with the right mindset, we're going to have a really fun year.
A fun start for Matt Murton today. Ronnie Cedeno, ground ball, slowly hit. Lopez will handle it. Barrett is at third, but there are 2 outs. But it's not Aaron Harang coming up, a guy instead who hit 300 last year. And if it weren't for Jason Marquis, Carlos Zambrano would have won the National League Silver Slugger. Marquis won it, but Zambrano had a great year at the plate. Murton came off the field, went into the dugout, went right to Gino. And it brings up another interesting point about a hitting coach or a pitching coach. You can tell guys things over and over. You can be aggressive, but at this level, you really would rather have your hitters come up to you.
No question about it. And Matt Murton is not shy about doing things like that. You know, the particular situation we were talking about with Michael Barrett on second base, ideally Matt Murton moves the ball somewhere to the right side of the field and gets Barrett over to third base with 1 out. But with that in mind, Aaron Harang is not going to just lay a fastball out over the plate that he can shoot to the right side. Aaron Harang knows what Matt Murton is trying to do. So he pounded him inside with hard sinkers. That's all part of the learning process, and eventually, you know, Matt Murton will either handle that pitch in a different way or he'll take that pitch. Adjustments every day, from at bat to at bat, from pitch to pitch, constantly making adjustments.
In his last spring training start, Zambrano had 2 hits. He swings and misses. Valentin will apply the tag. And that's it for the Cubs. Leadoff double goes for naught. 5-4.
Sign up now and get the Sex and the City scoop, a free weekly newsletter emailed right to you. It's hot. It's interactive.
Yes.
What's your favorite episode? Your weirdest dating story? The hottest new fashion trend?
You live for fashion.
Log on to SuperstationWGN.com and sign up now. Sex and the City, every night at 11 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Next week on Circle of Trust.
Look, this relationship isn't working out. I need to change. From net zero.
Look, forget that zero. Netscape can get you online for just $9.95 a month.
And fewer online ads than net zero?
Please, lots fewer. Netscape gives you free web accelerator and McAfee's comprehensive virus protection.
You make me feel so safe.
Yeah, I know.
Get Netscape. Sign up today.
School's out. Do you know where your daughter is? It was bad enough when tag was only in bathrooms and lockers, but new concealable body shots can be taken anywhere. And the ability to utilize a number of scents makes all of our daughters, sisters, and even charity car wash girls vulnerable. Tell your daughter, keep your eyes open and your nostrils shut. Because new tag body shots can be deployed wherever, whenever. Consider yourself warned.
So this truck driver came into H&R Block, and he said, "Don't forget, I can deduct my union dues." And I said, "Not only your dues, you can deduct your logbooks, your seat cushions, motel bills, truck washing costs, truck loading and unloading fees, and possibly your cell phone." And he looked at me and he said, "You do this for all your clients?" And I said, "No, just for anyone who works for a living."
The maximum refund guaranteed, or your return is free. H&R Block, in your corner.
Watch Cubs games live online whenever you're away from Chicago, exclusively from MLB.tv. Cubs.com has more live games on the internet than anywhere else. Cubs.com, where baseball is always on. How'd you love to be listening in on that conversation between the Commissioner of Baseball and the President of the United States? Of course, they go way back. The President, the former owner of the Texas Rangers. And you know they're talking baseball right now.
Yep.
Senator Jim Bunning on the left. Tony Womack, the Reds' leadoff man, leading off the bottom of the fourth. He has reached twice, a walk, a double, and has crossed the plate once. There's the bunt. Snaking along that line. It is foul. Good job by Barrett to get to it while it wasn't foul territory.
Yeah, ideally during the Cubs batting practice, Michael Barrett and Aramis Ramirez and Derek Lee rolled some balls down both baselines to see what they would do. This one just does get into foul territory, but you have to touch it once it's in foul territory. Barrett goes down to the shin guards and slides into that ball. That may have come back fair.
Well, I know one guy who rolled balls down each line. That was Juan Pierre. But he probably did it at 6:30 this morning.
Yeah, it's funny to watch the preparation of different players at different positions when they come into a new ballpark. Womack fouls one away. Outfielders will stand out there during batting practice throwing balls off the out-of-town scoreboard. They'll throw it off the padded area of the wall. Catchers will throw it off the area behind the backstop. First baseman will do the same down the first baseline in foul territory to see what the ball will do once it gets past. As you can see behind the wall there's some bricks. The ball happens to hit those bricks, obviously it's going to come back rather quickly, but if it hits that sign or any of the green padded areas behind home plate, the ball will die and stay back there.
Barrett setting up outside. Busted back grounder. Ramirez has to hurry, and he just gets it. Well, we've already seen like at least 3 broken bats that I can think of in the first 4 innings.
Ramirez, as you said, knows he has to hurry. He's aware of Tony Womack's speed. Tries to field, throw all in one motion. Nice stretch over there by Derek Lee. Womack doesn't have the same kind of speed he once had, but he still gets down that line in a hurry, especially when he's sniffing an infield hit. And Tony Womack will break a lot of bats. I can say that from experience when he was with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And personally, I think it's the way he holds the bat. You know, as a kid, you're taught that when you make contact with the ball, the trademark of the bat should be pointing toward the sky. That's the way the grain of the bat works and maximize the power of that bat. Tony always made contact with the trademark facing back toward the umpire, hitting against the grain of the bat and therefore breaking many, many bats over the course of the season.
That is walk number 5 issued by the ejected Carlos Zambranos, taking a long walk off the mound. And while we have a moment, let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN.
WGN.
Tying run is aboard with one out. Ken Griffey Jr. ready. Good play by Barrett. Michael going back to the old school mask. He wore the hockey mask for a lot of years. He was a teammate with Charlie O'Brien in Montreal a few years ago. O'Brien essentially came up with that hockey style mask. But this past offseason, as Michael was doing his off-season work, he had the old school mask and really liked it.
Well, the proponents of the hockey style mask say that the visibility is so much better that some of the catchers don't even take it off on pop-ups. They feel they can see much better. They have much better peripheral vision. But Michael going old school. I like it.
Big shift put on against Griffey once again. Now, you never had a chance to wear the hockey mask. Would you have tried it?
I would have tried it. I was always willing to try anything new if it was going to improve the game, but never had that opportunity. I told you before, we didn't even have to wear helmets underneath the mask when I first got to the big leagues.
Griffey ground ball, backhanded neatly by Lee. Ramirez at the other end. How about a 3-5-3 double play? Aramis playing short on that play. Inning over.
If a Cubs player hits a homer today, write down the distance and player's name and send it to WGN TV. You can win 2 round-trip tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination.
It's the biggest thing to hit Hot Pockets bread. We sprinkled cheese on the crust and baked it in for a crispy, cheesy taste. It's the best tasting Hot Pockets sandwich ever. Crispy, cheesy,
Hot Pockets!
The latest Turtle Wax breakthrough in car polish is Clear. Crystal Clear Turtle Wax Ice, a clarified synthetic carnauba that performs like no other polish or wax. Ice leaves no white residue on trim or in seams.
I had no residue whatsoever. It was perfect.
Clear and deep, and it really brings out the shine.
Ice is so advanced, you can use it in the hot sun with outstanding results. Now, your choice is clear. New Crystal Clear Ice from Turtle Wax, world leader through innovation.
When it comes to our handcrafted mini burgers, no detail is too small. The Ruby Minis are here. 4 little masterpieces, 1 big burger taste. Ruby Tuesday.
Weekdays on Superstation WGN.
You got the right one, baby.
Get in on the fun.
Oh?
With 2 fun-filled hours.
This is so much better.
Catch Cosby and the kids at 4. Then at 5, get some Mo. And hang with the gang from Moesha.
We're on TV. Bro, why are you playing?
Weekdays starting at 4 Eastern.
Red camera
On Superstation WGN.
Reggie dates jailbait.
It's the first time. Our first time. No, my first time.
Next Becker.
Tonight at 11:30 Eastern on WGN.
It's rare to see a 3-6-3 double play in the major leagues. It's almost unheard of, a 3-5-3 double play, but because of the Ken Griffey Jr. shift, Aramis Ramirez is the man covering second base as Derek Lee delivers the throw. The relay back in plenty of time. You just do not see that very often.
What you do see is Derek Lee pick, just like we just saw. Pierre not able to reach on a heck of a play by Encarnacion. Pierre trying to bunt his way on. No problem with the bunt. That was just a very nice defensive play.
I'm sure it's very frustrating to get thrown out, but that's about as good as you can roll that ball down the third baseline. Pierre bunts it out near the end of the bat to deaden the ball. Encarnacion with a gold glove play to throw out the speedy Pierre at first base. Now, you keep bunting like that, you're going to get your share of base hits over the course of the season. Not all third basemen are capable of making that kind of play.
That drops in for a strike on Todd Walker. Well, the speedy Pierre. And Dusty Baker talked about the newest Cub. They called him Fast Freddie Bynum. So you have the speedy Pierre and the Fast Freddie.
Introduced myself to Freddie Bynum in the clubhouse this morning. He looks fast when he's just standing there. He's one of those guys that looks like he has blinding speed just standing in a clubhouse.
Angel Pagan with very good speed on the bench. Jerry Hairston, Nafi Perez. Bounce foul by Walker.
Yeah, Bynum is a super utility player, plays all over the field. I asked him where he felt the most comfortable, and he said either second base or center field, but anywhere. Just get me in there.
If you're wondering about the Cubs bench today, it's very well balanced. Mabry and Bynum from the left side, Blanco and Hairston from the right side, and Pagan and Perez, the switch hitters. And if Angel Pagan gets into the ballgame today, it will be his major league debut. A 1-2, Todd Walker fought it off to stay alive. Both the LSU men's and women's basketball teams bowed out in the Final Four, but kudos to them for a great season. I don't think either team scored 50 points. So a lack of offense for LSU. Two and two. Derek Lee had a chance to go to North Carolina and play basketball, but he ended up becoming a pro baseball player instead. Griffey on the move. This ball deep, still carrying. It's going to bounce off the track and over the fence. The wind certainly helped it, but Todd Walker gave it a ride for his second double of the afternoon. He's 2 for 3.
Very well placed double by Todd Walker. No question the wind helped this one. A fastball out over the plate. He casts it up in the air. Junior was on his horse immediately, was shading Walker a little bit over into right center field. Had a long way to go to catch up to that ball, and the wind just continued to push it further away from him.
Derek Lee with a wide open stance. Looks at ball one. On the Silver Slugger, his first. Won his second Gold Glove.
Now, last season, there's no doubt in my mind that Aaron Harang would have pitched around, if not intentionally walked Derek Lee in this particular situation. Where advanced scouting comes in. Pete McCann, the advanced scout for the Reds, was on the Cubs the last couple of weeks of spring training. We saw him in Las Vegas, and he probably filed a report that Derek Lee is not as hot at the end of spring training this year as he was last year. So you see the Reds pitching him carefully, but yet going after him.
And there's ball four, and they did fix his first name on the scoreboard. There are 2 R's in Derek. And he has walked twice.
I've never written his whole first name. I just put D. Lee.
First and second for Ramirez. I should point out his first name technically is pronounced Aramis. Ramirez. So we will do our best to get it exactly right. Occasionally you'll hear a PA announcer say Aramis. And so I asked him, so that's not how you say it. He said, nope.
Is that a cologne or something?
If you would like to email us, we've got our email account up and running. You did pay the bill, right? WGN Cubs TV booth at AOL.com. We've been on the road for a while, so.
I think that last pitch from Aaron Harang to Javier Valentin was a cross-up. Anytime you see the catcher receive the pitch and immediately call timeout, start running out to the mound, there's a pretty good chance he was crossed up on that pitch.
But 2-0 to Ramirez, and he got under one. Kearns clutches out number 2. It's Trader Joe's Day on a Wednesday, April 12th. Watch the Cubs battle these Cincinnati Reds. And be sure to arrive early to be one of the first 10,000 adults to receive a canvas bag compliments of Trader Joe's. We can't wait to get back home. The home opener at Wrigley coming up Friday. Off day tomorrow. Game 2 of this series Wednesday. Off day Thursday. Jones bats with 2 outs. RBI chance here. Swing and a miss. Six hits for the Cubs, 5 for the Reds. Popped up back near the screen, and this one will get out of play. Boy, look out. Trying to make the catch, ended up on his hands and knees. It's been a rough one behind home plate today. You don't land on grass like the players do. If you miss it, it's concrete instead. Ouch. Oh. Like he banged the bridge of his nose as well.
Gonna have to call up a fan from AAA.
Foul tipped, and Valentin hangs on to end the inning. Cubs strand 2. They still lead by 1.
Ted Ferguson, Bud Light Daredevil. Today for a Bud Light, I'll attempt a stunt that no man should ever perform. I'll go shopping with my girlfriend during today's game.
This stuff is so cute. I'm gonna go try it all on.
Hey, time! Yes! Oh, he's down! Oh. Can you hear me? It's down. Everybody focus. All right, get it off. Clear. Come on. Who's winning? We are, Ted.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
With over 1.5 million vehicle listings to choose from on Cars.com, you can find the right car for you.
Blue is?
Find the right car for you. Cars.com.
Sign up now and get the Sex and the City Scoop, a free weekly newsletter emailed right to you. It's hot. It's interactive.
Yes.
What's your favorite episode? Your weirdest dating story? The hottest new fashion trend?
You live for fashion.
Log on to SuperstationWGN.com and sign up now. Sex and the City, every night at 11 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
This will probably be the final inning for Zambrano because he's already thrown 87 pitches. He faces Adam Dunn. Done with a sac fly, a single and a run. It's 5-4 Cubs. All the Cubs offense coming in the first inning. That's in there at the knees. Well, your assessment of Carlos today, I mean, he just at times hasn't thrown enough strikes.
That's basically it, and a lot of them have been very borderline pitches. We addressed Jerry Davis's tight strike zone behind the plate, a consistent zone, but a tight zone.
And it's going to be a tie game as Dunn goes deep. 5-5. It got out in a big-time hurry.
believe Carlos is just suffering from a lack of command here early in the season. That's a fastball right down the heart of the plate, knee high to a good low fastball hitter. Obviously ahead in the count of 2 strikes. That's not a pitch he wanted to make right there down the middle of the plate to give Dunn an opportunity to tie the game, but that's exactly what happened.
Popped up by Encarnacion. Barrett over. No fan had a chance at that one.
Line drive home run about 10 or 12 rows up into the bleachers.
That's a terrible punt, but a great home run. There was no hang time. Unless, of course, the punt was 82 yards, then it would be a great punt, regardless of the hang time.
Sneaking up on that 100 pitch mark.
Line at a 2-2. Bounding ball right to Ramirez. Got a candy hop at the end. There is action out in the Cubs pen. The left-hander is Will Oman. And the right-hander, I'm going to go with Michael Wirtz.
Michael Wirtz.
I'd like to play a little game called Name That Cubs Reliever here in Cincinnati. We'll show you the top of his cap. Can you guess who it is?
Will Oman had a rough morning with his teammates today. As we both well know, he didn't get his wake-up call this morning, missed the team bus over to the ballpark, and with the added security due to President Bush being at the stadium today, there was some concern whether Will Oman was even going to be able to get into the ballpark. So Ryan Dempster and Scott Williamson and Greg Maddux and some of his teammates really let him have it when he got to the ballpark today.
Well, he's a lefty. Bullpen out there tucked in the right field corner. Hatteberg with the big blast for the Reds. 3-run homer in the 3rd. They've come all the way back. Called strike 3. So Davis rings up Hatteberg. And for Zambrano, 5 strikeouts.
Good movement on this pitch. Little comeback sinker. I think Hatteberg thought that pitch might have been up. It's not tough enough to hit in the big leagues, but you got a hot dog wrapper swirling around about 10 feet out in front of home plate just as Carlos let that pitch go.
My bad. I didn't mean to let it get out of the booth. Oh, look out.
Watch out. Head high fastball sends Kearns to the deck.
I think it was Kearns who was plucked by Zambrano at Wrigley Field last year and he got ejected. Kearns went, according to Brian Gorman, at first base. I think it was Adam Dunn who hit a home run. The next pitch got Austin Kearns in the backside, and that was it for Zambrano that night. To left, going to be extra bases likely for Kearns. Here's a throw by Murton. Little stand-up double for Kearns.
Yeah, Carlos is starting to come out of his mechanics a little bit out there on the mound. Maybe the anger getting the better of him. He just tried to overthrow that fastball, and the harder you try to throw it, the less movement you get. That was a laser beam straight fastball inside part of the plate. Kearns has been a good fastball hitter since the day he got to the big leagues and hooks this one down into the corner.
Well, carbon copy for Zambrano last year and this year, in that he was unable to get through 5 innings in Arizona, went 4 2/3, and that'll be the case here today. It's going to be a double switch. Will Oman coming in, Angel Pagan as well for Jock Jones. We'll sort it all out when we return to Cincinnati.
exclusive Beechwood aging produces a taste, a smoothness, and a drinkability you'll find in no other beer.
Searching other websites for low fares? Better get comfortable. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly nonstop from Chicago Midway to Long Island Islip for just $39. Purchased by May 11.
You are now free to move about the country.
Keep it under 200.
Drink a Pepsi and you could win an all-new 2007 Chevy Tahoe customized by Jeff Gordon. Or tricked out by Exhibit.
Don't scratch the 24s.
We're giving away a Chevy Tahoe every single day for 70 days during the Free Ride Sweepstakes. Get details at PepsiFreeRide.com.
Well, for Angel Pagan, this is his 587th pro game, but his first as a big leaguer. So welcome to the show. He's in playing right. He'll bat ninth, and Will Oman takes over on the mound. Runner at second with 2 outs, and he'll turn around Javier Valentin, who will bat right-handed.
And this is a percentage move. Javier Valentin, a .301 hitter last season against right-handed pitching, batted only .184 against lefties.
Adam Dunn led off this inning with a game-tying home run. Boy, what a catching tandem the Reds had last year. Jason LaRue and Javier Valentin. LaRue starting this year on the disabled list, but might miss just a week as they backdated the DL stint. He had a surgery on his right knee very similar to the one Kerry Wood had, the medial meniscus. And there was hope that LaRue would be back for opening day, but as a catcher it's a little bit tougher. You're in that squatting position with a knee injury, so they're going to give him a few more days. Mike Burns is a right-hander. But LaRue and Valentin last year combined for 28 home runs and 110 RBIs. That is great production from behind the plate.
No, there's no question both these guys are offensive catchers. LaRue and Valentin both have some problems defensively behind the plate, but the idea is they'll make up for any deficiencies behind the plate with the way they swing the bat.
Cubs got a lot of offense out of Michael Barrett, and in the second half Henry Blanco as well. High fly. Pagan is there. So Angel gets right into the action defensively in his big league debut. Good job, Will Oman. 5-5.
His name is Dominic Da Vinci, and he's not your average coroner.
I speak for the dead.
They say dead men tell no tales, but no body escapes the inquest.
I want to find out what she knows. She knows something 100%.
Da Vinci's Inquest, Tuesday night at 8 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Searching other websites for low fares? Better get comfortable. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly nonstop from Chicago Midway to Long Island Islip for just $39. Purchased by May 11.
You are now free to move about the country.
When it comes to our handcrafted mini burgers, no detail is too small. The Ruby Minis are here. 4 little masterpieces, 1 big burger taste. Ruby Tuesday.
I'm 22 for a moment, and she feels better than ever, and we're on fire, making our way back from Mars. I'm 33 for a moment.
The road of life takes many turns. There are over 900 Chase credit cards to help you make the most of every one. Your choice, your Chase.
Lean Pockets has only 7 grams of fat, has only 300 calories, has 0 trans fat, and he
Thanks, hon.
has no idea. Now Lean Pockets brand has a new crispier, cheesier crust, more nutritious, more delicious.
Well, all the offense for the Cubs thus far in the first inning. Aaron Harang has settled down. Carlos Zambrano threw 105 pitches. He is out, so it's up to the Cubs bullpen and the offense the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I think the big change for Aaron Harang in the Cubs offense was, we talked about at the top of the show, he likes his fastball early in the game. He threw a lot of fastballs in that first inning, but since then he's mixed in some slow curveballs, some hard sliders off the plate away, even a couple of straight changeups.
Michael Barrett led off the fourth inning with a double. The Cubs have stranded 3 over the last 2 innings. But one thing the Cubs know very well, in this ballpark you need as many runs as possible, and the Cubs struggled against teams like Milwaukee and Cincinnati. The Cubs were just 6-9 against the Reds last year, even though they finished ahead of them in the standings.
Dusty mentioned that before the game. We owe these guys. They really played the Cubs tough last year.
Cubs finished in 4th place, 79 and 83. The Reds placed 5th, 73 and 89. Cubs had a nice spring training, 16 up, 13 down, and the Reds led all of baseball with 22 spring wins. You can throw the spring numbers out the window at this point, and a leadoff walk to start the 6th. That is the 3rd walk issued by Aaron Harang. Matt Murton coming up, and what a first inning he had today. 3-run homer to cap that 5-run first inning. And then it was time for some defense. Huge catch to end the first inning, helped out Carlos Zambrano.
You know, we talk so much about Matt Murton's offense, and I mentioned in spring training that I thought this guy has a chance to be among the league leaders in hitting for a long time, but he has worked extremely hard on his defense.
Barrett is running. It is a hit and run. Tap past Harang, and Encarnacion can't pick it up. Everybody's safe, first and second. And it's an infield single for Murton. So Dusty making some things happen.
And we talked about it down in Arizona. Dusty used the hit and run a lot more this spring than we've ever seen him use it before, and we didn't know whether that was something that was just being tried in spring training or whether it would carry over into the regular season. But Matt Murton just with a little chopper to the left side. Once it got by the pitcher, it was going to be a tough play for anybody, and Matt Murton ends up with an infield signal, and the Cubs have it going here. Well, this is one of those rare occasions where you may see a number 8 hitter put down a sac bunt. Normally you wouldn't do that with the pitcher on deck, but because of the double switch, the Cubs have Angel Pagan in the on deck circle.
He's a switch hitter. Harang now at 89 pitches on the afternoon. By the way, in the first inning, the 5 runs, only 2 of the Cubs' runs in that inning were earned. 3 were unearned because of an error in the inning. That's bunted foul. So 2 strikes on Cedeno.
Well, these are the kind of things Ronnie Cedeno is going to have to do well to stay in that starting lineup. He had a rough spring offensively, but any opportunity you get to move those runners up and set the table for the guy behind you in the batting order, you need to get the job done.
Oh, 2. There's the bunt and a dandy, considering there were 2 strikes. Both guys move up. Cedeno safe. Well, the ball wasn't hit that hard, and Encarnacion charging. Cedeno just simply beat it out with his speed.
Well, with the 2-strike count, Encarnacion had dropped back a couple steps at third base, and Ronnie gave all the indication that he was going to swing with the 2-strike count. At the last instant, dropped down a bunt perfectly on that left side of the infield. Encarnacion made a nice play, but Ronnie just legged it out. Get another look at it. Didn't try to be too fine this time. The first couple of bunts, it looked like he was trying to put it right down the stripe on the left side. This time he just gets it to the left side of the infield and gets out of the box quickly, gets himself an infield hit.
So Angel Pagan with his first career plate appearance, and it'll come with the bases full and no outs. Tom Hume has the Reds bullpen coach, but acting as the pitching coach right now. Vern Rule was diagnosed with cancer in spring training, and while he receives treatment, Hume will handle his duties. Lee Tunnell, who was a AAA pitching coach, will act as a bullpen coach for the Reds. And boy, we wish Vern Rule, one of the great guys in this game, the very best as he battles through his illness.
Absolutely.
Here's Pagan. 3 men on, nobody out. Switch hitter batting left-handed. Ball 1. Had a huge spring, put himself very much on the radar, and he made the club. He had 381 in Cactus League play with 5 home runs. Outside corner. One of those off-season moves. Had his contract purchased from the Mets. It was on the waiver wire. You read it in the back of the sports section. But he just turned into a very nice pickup for Jim Hendry and the Cubs. Chris Hammond, a left-hander. He is up for the Reds. Cubs hoping for another big inning. They scored 5 in the first. Here's a pitch. Big cut, 2-2. Zambrano cannot get a win today. Good job to fight that off. Will Ullman right now, the pitcher of record for the Cubs. He got the final out of the 5th. Barrett started it with a free pass. Murton and Cedeno with infield hits. In Cedeno's case, an 0-2 bunt, and then he beat it out. Let's pause for station ID.
This is America's home for sports all year round. Superstation WGN.
2-2 on Angel Pagan. Bases loaded, no outs, and a 5-5 6th inning tie. Three and 2.
Boy, good discipline there for Pagan. Off-speed pitch just off the outside corner, maybe up a little bit. The Reds fans wanted a called strike here. Yeah, Valentin pulls that ball in a good 6 inches after he receives it, pushes it back towards the middle, but Jerry Davis isn't going to bite on that.
Big pitch coming up. 3 and 2 with the bases loaded. Here it is. We'll do it again. Well, it's a great at bat for a guy stepping into the box for the first time in a big league uniform.
Javier Valentin, the Reds catcher, you can see how high he sits on his haunches back there behind the plate.
Another 3-2 fly to left, not terribly deep. Dunn coming way in fact, can't catch it. A run is in. Here comes another. No, Murton's going to hold it third. Barrett scores. Still loaded. Dunn kept coming in, and could not make the catch. And it's a hit for Angel Pagan. So he gets a base hit, knocks in a run in his first major league at bat, 6-5.
Well, it's been an adventure out there in shallow left field for Adam Dunn and Felipe Lopez today. A couple balls have been pushed by the wind over Dunn's head. This one appeared to get knocked down. Dunn comes on in a hurry. Lopez gave up on the ball, assuming the big left fielder was going to make the play, and he just couldn't get there.
So congratulations to Angel Pagan, his first major league hit and RBI. Pitching change, Hammond for Harang when we come back.
Weekdays on Superstation WGN.
You got the right one, baby.
Get in on the fun.
Oh?
With 2 fun-filled hours.
This is so much better.
Catch Cosby and the kids at 4. Then at 5, get some Mo. And hang with the gang from Moesha.
It's wrong TV. Bro, why are you playing?
Weekdays starting at 4 Eastern.
Where the camera at?
On Superstation WGN. When your in-home disasters become America's biggest laughter, we've got it all caught on tape. Every Monday night, get 3 hilarious hours of AFV. Even when things go extremely wrong, laughter makes it oh so right. It's the cranks, pranks, and all-out stupid maneuvers that make Monday nights a splash. Join Tom Bergeron as he brings you the ultimate in reality television.
Common sense is the enemy of comedy. My new motto, stop thinking, start taping.
It's a knockdown, flipped around good time. So when life gets a little crazy, remember to take some time to laugh. America's funniest home videos. Every Monday night beginning at 7 Eastern on Superstation WGN. It's great to be home.
Let's take a look at our upcoming games in high definition on WGN, sponsored by Comcast. The home opener Friday, 12:30 for the airtime. First pitch at 1:20, and then the Reds coming in next week, the 12th and 13th, 1 o'clock for the leadoff man show. 2006 Cubs baseball in HD from Wrigley Field, sponsored by Comcast. Here's Chris Hammond back with the Cincinnati Reds for the second time. Bases loaded, no outs. Juan Pierre fouling away. It's 1-1.
There's a good contrast in styles for Jerry Narron, starting with Aaron Harang, the big, tall right-hander. We mentioned he likes to throw a lot of fastballs. Chris Hammond rarely throws a fastball. Tremendous straight changeup. He'll throw a breaking ball. Usually when he throws a fastball, it's just a show-me pitch to set a hitter up for the following changeup.
Here is his 1-1. That one is smack foul down the left field line. Chris Hammond made his major league debut way back in 1990 in a Reds uniform. He and Kent Merker are the 2 left-handers in the Reds pen. 1-2. Pierre just reaches out. It's off the glove of Hammond. Looks like everybody's going to be safe. Still loaded. 7-5. And another infield hit. That's 3 infield singles in the inning. Line keeps moving.
Well, hits that ball off the very end of the bat, a breaking ball way down low and away. Hammond can't come up with it back on the mound, and we're seeing some benefits from the addition of speed. Not only Juan Pierre, Ronnie Cedeno with the 2-strike bunt was able to beat it out. Matt Murton, not known for his speed. I'd classify him average at best, but he legged out an infield hit.
Juan Pierre is very adept at making contact, whether it's a pitch in the zone or out of the strike zone. He very rarely swings and misses. Doesn't strike out a whole lot. In the dirt. Oh, what a strange game. A lot of momentum shifts. The Cubs with 5 in the first. The Reds eventually tied it in the 5th. Cubs with 2 already in the 6th and looking to really bust it open. Walker takes a strike. 1-2.
Hammond gets the benefit of the doubt on a hanging changeup right here. All up around the belt.
Ground ball, base hit to left. Cedeno is in. Around third, Pagan. He's going to score easily. 2-run single, and what a day for Todd Walker. His 3rd hit And he now has 3 RBIs.
Boy, a nice piece of professional hitting right here. Look how long Todd Walker waited. Got his weight out on his front foot, but he kept his hands back. And when Encarnacion drawn in at third, he just slaps it by him into left field to drive home a couple more. Nice hit.
So that closes the book on the starter harangue. All those runs charged to him. And we have yet another pitching change. 9-5, still no outs in the 6th.
This is who I am. This is where I'm from. This is what I believe in when the day is done. This is Budweiser. This is clear. Budweiser, the king is here. This is Budweiser. This is beer.
Searching other websites for low fares? Better get comfortable. With Southwest Airlines Internet specials, you can fly nonstop from Chicago Midway to Long Island Islip for just $39. Purchased by May 11th.
You are now free to move about the country.
Keep it under 200.
Drink a Pepsi and you could win an all-new 2007 Chevy Tahoe customized by Jeff Gordon. Or tricked out by Exhibit.
Don't scratch the 24s.
We're giving away a Chevy Tahoe every single day for 70 days during the free ride sweepstakes. Get details at PepsiFreeRide.com.
It is time to have a ball with the Illinois Lottery. Opening day style here in Cincinnati, Ohio. President Bush throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. On a pomp and circumstance today, and 2 huge innings for the Cubs. Boy, those crooked numbers you love. 5 in the first, 4 here in the 6th. Todd Walker in the middle of everything with 3 hits, 3 RBIs today. And today's Have a Ball brought to you by our friends at the Illinois Lottery. Walk, single, 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 single to start this inning. 5 straight hits. And 11 on the afternoon. Mike Burns facing Derek Lee, the 3rd Reds pitcher.
Pitched in 27 games last year for the Houston Astros. Total of 31 innings.
Two strikes on Lee. Nine to 5. Pierre at second. Walker at first. Well, Will Ullman got a late wake-up call, but he has a chance for an opening day win. And on the hand, still 2 strikes. And a game in Philadelphia, Jimmy Rollins. He is 0 for 2. Cardinals lead 5-0. Albert Pujols with his first home run. White Sox late last night at a long rain delay, but they opened the season with a win over the Indians. Jim Thome with a huge home run. CC Sabathia left early with an abdominal injury. Well, you hate to see that. Your opening day starter, and all of a sudden you feel a little tweak. It's not a great way to start the year.
CC Sabathia, I don't know if I'd call anything abdominal little with him. It's going to be a problem.
Pierre back at second. Burns gets a sign from his catcher Valentine, and it's even. Derek has already walked twice today, flying to center the other time. Runners getting their signs from Chris Spire at third base, and a 3-2 pitch coming up as Jerry Narron paces in the Reds dugout.
Well, the obligatory inside move to second base on the full count. I do believe the Cubs will be moving here. Chris Spire went through a series of signs to Juan Pierre, and at the very end he just held both hands up and signaled, "Come on over."
The 3-2 of the runners moving. They'll have to retreat.
Boy, and Edwin Encarnacion, the third baseman for the Reds, evacuated his position quickly to go cover the bag on Juan Pierre, attempting to steal, leaving a huge hole on the left side of the infield.
Long look by Burns. We'll see if they run again. Yep, there they go. Fouled off again. And I spoke too soon. The Cardinals lead is not 5, it's 10. Scott Rowland with a grand slam. 8 runs in the 4th inning. Another 3-2, runners moving, high, towering, pop fly. Dunn still going back on it, twisting and turning, and it's off the board. Here comes Pierre, Walker to third, Lee trots into second. Boy, off the bat, it looked like it was going to be a home run. Then Dunn looked like he was going to make an easy catch, and then it went off the scoreboard. It is 10-5. Boy, Derek Lee just missed a home run. And it's been a long afternoon and left for Adam Dunn.
He has not looked comfortable on any ball hit out there today. Ground balls, fly balls, line drives. He's misplayed them all. Hearing some boos here from the home crowd.
That is a double for Derek. I mentioned earlier, as Ramirez is going to be intentionally walked, that Dunn had played a lot of first base in spring training, but he has been a left fielder. He's played a little bit of both, but he's most comfortable, at least going into the season, when you look at the games played, in left. So it's 10-5, bases loaded, no outs, and the 9th batter of the inning will be a pinch hitter, Davey Perez. Walker is at third, Lee at second, Ramirez at first. Mayfield's second switch batter to come off the Cubs bench today. Here's a pitch, ground ball, right field. Here comes Walker. Lee trying to score. He's going to stop at the last second. He got halfway home and retreats to third. 11-5. Afey comes through. what an inning. 6 here in the 6th.
Nathan Perez taking advantage of that drawn-in infield, picks on a high off-speed pitch and slaps it past Tony Womack at second base. Of course, hindsight is 20/20. Kern's throw to the plate was spiked into the ground, hit on the infield dirt. Derek Lee slammed on the brakes, however, retreated back to third base.
Michael Barrett with 3 men on. Seven hits in the inning and 2 walks. Barrett started the inning by reaching on a walk. Now the Reds have used 3 pitchers in this inning and have yet to record an out. Carlos Zambrano gets a no decision today.
Misses the catcher. Catches Jerry Davis square on the right side there. Fortunately, he's got that chest protector on underneath that very natty sports coat that the umpires wear.
Davis in his 23rd season. I'm sure he's taken a few foul balls off various body parts. Barrett to short. Reds try to turn 2. It goes 6-4-3. A run scores. No RBI for Barrett, and it's 12-5. Well, we have a quick moment. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN.
Looking for the perfect relationship? Let the lovely ladies of Sex and the City teach you a thing or two about romance every night at 11 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
5 in the first, 7 here in the 6th. Again, no RBI for Barrett as Lee crossed the plate with run number 12. Well, what did we say before the game started? The last 3 years, the Cubs have averaged over 12 runs per opening day game. They have not lost under Dusty Baker in game 1 of the season. Ramirez, the only runner left. He's at third. Pierre with 2 hits, 2 runs, an RBI. Walker 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 RBIs. Derek Lee has been on base 3 times, has scored twice. Ramirez with a single. Everybody contributing today. Murton 2 for 3 with a 3-run homer. Angel Pagan in his major league debut. First hit, first RBI, first run. Full count on Murton. A pitch on the way. He walked him. So we'll see at least 12 batters in this inning.
You know, Lynn, you have to keep in mind that a lot of the pitchers Matt Murton is seeing in the early going this season, he's never seen before. I mean, his natural at bat is to take pitches, make sure he gets a good strike to hit. But against pitchers he's never seen before, I think you're going to see him be even more patient. Try to get a beat on some of these guys. So later in the season, when he comes up in those clutch at bats with an opportunity to drive in runs, he'll have a better idea, in this case, of what Mike Burns throws.
Two strikes on Cedeno.
Now this is one of those ballparks where it's hard to know when to shut down your running game. How much of a lead is enough? I mean, we talked about the Reds and their high-powered offense and their ability to hit the ball in the seats. Normally a 7-run lead in the 6th inning would be a pretty comfortable lead, but not necessarily in this ballpark.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. But what an inning. a 7 spot. So the Cubs' advantage is 12-5.
Wednesday, it's humor that gets you hammered. Fall into funny with Home Improvement. Wednesday at 9 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Free Bud Light with every wedding. Hey, baby, let's get married.
Oh, Cedric!
Dear friends, we are gathered here today to do this thing. So do you?
I do.
How about you? Do you?
Where's the beer?
Yes. And there you go.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
I do.
Look, here's the deal. When you talk about Geico.com, you want to communicate 3 things. Easy to use, no middleman, could save you hundreds on car insurance. Other than that, just sort of be personable, yeah? The old nice weather, innit? Cup of tea? That'd be lovely. How's your mum? Cheers. I'll stick with the small talk, mate. Theatrics might come across as a bit cheesy.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Just when it looks like stuff is out of my reach, there's McDonald's Dollar Menu. Double cheeseburgers, fries, and more for just $1 each. Puts it all right back where it belongs.
Old St. Nick has got a bone to pick.
Everybody freeze!
We're being held hostage
On the next Moesha.
Today at 5 Eastern on WGN.
Let's check out today's Honda Ridgeline game summary. Crooked numbers. The big thing for the Cubs today: 5 in the first, 7 in the sixth, 3-run shot in the opener for Matt Murton. Scott Hatterberg went deep, 3-run homer. Adam Dunn, good day at the plate, rough day in the outfield. Aaron Harang gave up 9 runs in 5 innings. Honda Ridgeline, the 2006 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. See it today at your Honda dealer. Nathy Perez stays in, plays second. Scott Williamson, a former Red, is on for the Cubs here on the 6th. Chris DeNorfia pinch hitting. He came back last year in under a year from Tommy John surgery. Boy, this is one of those games you really can't sum it up in one sentence, unless the sentence is about 3 paragraphs.
Well, you do have to say that the Cubs have taken advantage of their opportunities, with the exception of that 4th inning when Michael Barrett led off with a double and was stranded. Every other inning, when they've had runners on base, they've cashed them in.
Very eventful opening day, and the Cubs offense really coming through. Aaron Harang settled down 2nd through the 5th. He gave up just 3 base runners. With the way his outing started and ended, well, the Cubs scored 9 off him today. Three and 2 on DeNorfia. Great debut for Juan Pierre at the plate and in the field. Williamson with a payoff pitch. Pierre going back on this one, but he won't be able to catch it. Going to play it off the bottom of the wall. Is DeNorfia with a pinch double.
Just with a get-me-over fastball on the 3-2 count, gets it up just a little bit. DeNorfia going to straightaway center field. Juan Pierre was playing very shallow, but plays the carom off the wall about as good as you can. Gets the ball back in, holds DeNorfia to a double.
Juan does not have a great arm in the outfield, but man, you just hit that cutoff guy. That's all you can really ask. You always want to have a strong arm out there, but if you have a big arm and you never hit the cutoff guy, you're doing your team a disservice.
Well, we've seen a couple of outfielders for the Reds. Adam Dunn in left, who has a very good throwing arm. Austin Kearns in right has a good throwing arm, and they both spiked balls into the dirt in their throws back into the infield. It doesn't really help to have a good throwing arm if you don't use it properly. You can count the number of good outfield arms on one hand anymore. It used to be every team had a couple of outfielders that would throw you out from a deep fly ball on a tag play. You don't see that anymore.
Well, I think what sometimes tends to happen, the guys who have that huge cannon, it's like the golf analogy. You probably need a 4-iron, but you've got a 7, and you're kind of in that in-between area, and the ball ends up just trickling into home plate, when if you just took a little something off it, maybe a sand wedge to the second baseman, and you'd be okay.
I think that's just another example of how the game has gone offensive over the last number of years. You know, it used to be as an outfielder, obviously you had to carry your weight with the bat, you know, but you were expected to make plays and throw out runners as a defender as well, and that's kind of gone by the wayside.
It is full on Womack. Tony was acquired from the Yankees in December.
One of the most unselfish guys you'll run into in the major leagues. He's changed positions several times throughout the course of his career. He's played both middle infield positions. He's played in the outfield and has always made the move depending on what was in the best interest of his team. Solid career numbers for Tony Womack, one of the best in the history of the game in stolen base percentage. Over 83% of his stolen base attempted had resulted in stolen bases. I mentioned it earlier, this guy will break a dozen bats before this series is over.
Greg Maddux has broken a few bats in his day. He'll pitch Friday. .362 career steals for Womack. Another 3-2 almost hit him. That's ball 4.
Now, this is definitely not what Dusty Baker and Larry Rothschild had in mind when they brought Scott Williamson into this game with a 7-run lead. An opportunity to get his feet underneath him out there in game 1 of the season. He's throwing way too many pitches, nibbling around the edges of the strike zone, falling behind the hitters, really having to work hard.
This is a big batter for him with Griffey next. And you said it. A 7-run lead here, and the way the day has gone does not feel like a 7-run lead would at Washington or at Wrigley with the wind blowing in.
It feels more like a 7-run lead at Coors Field.
Yep.
Which is not safe.
And the Reds offense more closely resembles the old Blake Street Bombers in the current Rockies lineup, where they have some guys who can hit the ball out of the yard. Scott Air might make his Cubs debut this afternoon.
Michael Bear with a quick trip out to the mound, saving Larry Rothschild a trip to the mound. That's something that Michael said he was going to try to do more this year. Take more charge of the pitching staff.
And this is the kind of day where even with a big lead in the late innings, you'll probably see Dusty go with the guys he would go with in a tight game.
Especially with the day off tomorrow.
Now they're loaded. Well, how many times for both teams have the bases been loaded with nobody out? Dusty has his lineup card. He's going to make another double switch. So it's 12-5 Cubs, but the Reds have the bases loaded with nobody out. We'll be back bottom of the 6th.
Jackie Chan is here. Remember, I'm not letting you do any stunts, okay? Mr. Chan, you want to make a movie with my client, Diet Pepsi?
Your client will be perfect.
We would insist on a stunt double.
No problem.
Watch my back, okay? Look at you. You look great. Aren't you glad you didn't do the stunts?
In times of danger and disaster, in times of peace and times of war, in times of joy and times of pain, in every corner of the world and right here at home, for their families, for their futures, for the incredible sacrifice they make for all of us, so that someday they can return to the people they love and the things they hold in their hearts. For all of this, it's this simple. We need them, they need us, and we need you. The USO. Until everyone comes home. To find out more about the USO and how you can help, visit USO.org.
Time now for our Budweiser fan cam. The Goo Goo Dolls hope for what all Cub fans dream of as this 2006 season begins. Better days.
And you ask me what I want this year, and I try to make this kind and clear, just a chance that maybe we'll find.
That's today's Bud Fan Cam. Big thank you to everyone at Anheuser-Busch for their continued support of Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. Jerry Hairston Jr. chatting with Tony Womack. He is now playing second base. Nathy moves from second to short. So the double play combination is new from the start of the game. Cedeno and Walker are out. And Perez and Hairston are in. And Scott Air led the big leagues last year in appearances. And this year he's on pace to appear in all 162. Bases loaded, nobody out. Griffey the batter. Good time to bring Air in because you have Griffey and then Dunn. Ball one. Denorfia, Womack, Lopez, third to first for the Reds on the bases. Barrett's setting up shop outside. Deep drive. Pierre back. He's on the track. He has it. Everybody tagging. It's 12-6. Griffey with a sacrifice fly.
Looked like Junior thought he got this one. Went into his pose to jog down to first baseline, but that time the wind did not carry that ball far enough to get out of here. Before that at bat, Ken Griffey Jr. was 6 for 16 with 3 home runs against Scott Air. Adam Dunn makes his way to the plate. Some boos once again from the hometown crowd.
Not going to make any excuses for Adam Dunn. Jock Jones did misjudge the ball earlier. The wind, I think, is playing some tricks with the fly balls today. You've seen some great catches in the outfield. You've seen some outfielders go back, then in, then back. And it has been an adventure in left for Dunn. And at this point, with the big lead, you'll exchange an out for a run at this point, correct?
Absolutely.
That's why the infield is back, of course. the way this inning started, you can get out of it with 1 or 2 runs given up. You feel pretty good.
That's a good old-fashioned damage control. Sometimes you feel bad about giving up a run in an inning if you get 2 quick outs and then the team manages to rally and still score against you. But the opposite is true. If they load the bases with nobody out and you can escape only allowing a run, then you feel pretty good about that inning.
Kicking a 1-2. He struck him out.
Well, I mentioned the fans booing Adam Dunn. It's been an adventure for him in left field today. Swirling winds, almost collides with his shortstop Felipe Lopez. Thought he had caught that ball. This judges this ball back on the warning track. Very nearly goes face first into the fence.
Encarnacion with 2 outs, 2nd and 3rd. You can use Scott Air as a left-handed specialist, and you can just use him for an inning. You can get out right-handers too. But he's very stingy in allowing inherited runners to score. Since 2002, he's only allowed 18.5% to cross the plate, 2nd lowest percentage in the big leagues. So he's very used to coming into a game in the middle of an inning with runners on.
And because Dusty Baker made a double switch when he brought Scott Air into the ball game, you would anticipate that he's going to go back out and pitch the 7th inning as well, at least start the 7th inning.
And Encarnacion went around, so Air able to get out of the inning. Just the sac fly by Griffey, so only 1 run for the Reds. It's charged to Williamson. 12-6 Cubs.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Chicago Cubs.
Keep it under 200.
Drink a Pepsi and you could win an all-new 2007 Chevy Tahoe customized by Jeff Gordon. Or tricked out by Exhibit.
Don't scratch the 24s.
We're giving away a Chevy Tahoe every single day for 70 days during the free ride sweepstakes. Get details at PepsiFreeRide.com.
We know the HRX is a Honda. We know it has cruise control. We know it has a Xenoi body that's virtually indestructible. What we don't know is, what is this?
It's called Versamo. It goes from mulching to packing to discharge with no attachments.
This changes everything.
Weeknights are great nights to be home on Superstation WGN. First, let Tim the Toolman Taylor improve your mood with 2 laugh-filled episodes of Home Improvement. Then stay seated for America's funniest home videos, where comic clips and embarrassing slips are all caught on tape. Be sure to make it home weeknights for a full hour of Home Improvement at 6, followed by America's funniest home videos at 7 on Superstation WGN. Your home for great comedy.
All right. This is the year, right? How you doing? That's great. Yes, sir.
Well, you heard President Bush say this is the year, right? To Dusty Baker. Well, what an honor to meet the president, a huge baseball fan.
Yes, sir.
And of course, he's very aware that Derek Lee won the National League batting title last year. The Cubs would love to see him at the White House this coming off season, like the White Sox did this past off season. 12-6. We're in the 7th inning. Angel Pagan with a 2nd at bat. An RBI single and a run in his first major league at bat in the 6th. Matt Belisle is the 4th Reds pitcher today. Tony Womack will throw out Pagan. Hey, Cub fans, don't forget to check out our Cubs baseball blog, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. And on Len and Bob's blog today, I have a post about opening day. Talked about the weather a little bit. Bob has a post about the Cubs second base story. Derek Lee's quest for an encore of last year. Some opening day notes from our good friends at Stats Inc. And you can still check out some great photos from our trip to Vegas. So just go to WGNTV.com. Click on Len and Bob's baseball blog. It's brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Video on the blog this year. Dan Roan, WGN sports director, interviewed Greg Maddux. You can catch that on the blog as well. 1-1 to Pierre. It's now 2 balls and a strike. While the windup 2-2. Boy, a large part of this crowd has vacated the premises. I don't know when it happened. I just looked out in the bleachers and left. There are very few people left out there.
It happened right about the time Edwin Encarnacion struck out to end that last half inning. I mean, Javier Valentin rolled the ball back to the mound, and by the time the ball stopped rolling, the stands were emptying out.
'25th sellout here at Great American Ballpark. Haven't heard the official attendance as of yet. Pierre looking for his 3rd hit of the afternoon. He's 2 for 4. And he pops it up near third base. Encarnacion in foul ground with a catch.
Juan Pierre showing a little emotion out there. He's a guy that knows for him to be successful, he needs to hit the ball on the ground.
Hairston with his first AB. I think the second base situation's worked out okay today. Todd Walker with a big day at the plate. 3 for 4 with 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, 2 runs. We've seen Perez and Hairston in the game, and a single to center.
Well, that's one way to avoid any controversy at the second base position. Just play them all every day. Dusty able to get all 3 of them into the game today by necessity. But that's you know, the kind of versatility that Dusty has this year with the guys available off the bench, their ability to play multiple positions. You can make those double switches in the middle of the ball game when you have a pitcher coming in that you want to extend for more than 1 inning, and his spot is due up in the next half. Yeah, Dusty's got a lot of options this year.
You'd have to think with the lead, if it continues like this, we'll see Freddie Bynum at some point, as Dusty will try to work him in. 11 position players have been in the game for the Cubs. They have all reached base to this point. And back on the bullpen equation, not only do the Cubs have the off day tomorrow, but boy, you'd really like to get Ryan Dempster into a game with a 6 or 7 run lead in the 9th, just to get that first one out of the way, instead of waiting until you have the 1 run lead in the 9th against Albert Pujols in the 6th game of the season. Three and 1 on Lee. Ramirez would bat next. If Derek can reach. The pitch. Bounding ball, foul. question left, really, in that game in Philadelphia. Will Jimmy Rollins get a hit? He's 0 for 3. The Cardinals pounding the Phillies 13-2. Hairston going on a 3-2. Albert Pujols has homered twice. Scott Rowland with a grand slam. Aaron Miles got the start at second base for St. Louis. Milwaukee leading Pittsburgh 3-2. They're in the bottom of the 8th at Miller Park. Mets beat the Nationals 3-2. Fouled right at the plate. And Aaron Miles is 3 for 3. I think he had 5 hits on opening day for the Rockies last year. So I'm sure there's some sort of record for consecutive opening day hits. And if there is one, he's probably close to it or has it.
Great opening day player. You want to put him on your roster for opening day and then, trade him.
Get to some other scores later as Lee walks for the 3rd time. Kimberly Clark and Jewel present the 20th anniversary Vine Line celebration on April 9th when the Cubs battle the Cardinals. The first 20,000 fans will receive a scratch and win card. 100 random winners will win a 1-year subscription to Vine Line, the official monthly magazine of the Chicago Cubs. Red Sox 7, Texas 2 in the 8th inning in Arlington. Baltimore 5, Tampa Bay 4, bottom 5. Camden Yards. Detroit, Kansas City scoreless in the 3rd. Early action back in the National League. Arizona 1, Rockies nothing in the 3rd inning, and the Braves got 4 in the 1st in Los Angeles. They're now in the 3rd inning. It's 4-0.
It's been a rough day for foul balls in that section just down below us to the right. That time a gentleman went after it and flipped right off the back of his chair, landed in the aisle well.
Two-strike pitch in the dirt, low and outside. The Cubs will have an optional workout here at the ballpark tomorrow with the off day. And then on Wednesday, getaway day, game 2 of the season, as Glendon Rush opposes Bronson Arroyo. Ramirez hits it hard off the glove of Belisle. Womack will pick it up, throw to first, and he gets him. Belisle playing defense. It's 1-4-3 on a ball that was scalded right back at the pitcher. 12-6, 7th inning stretch time.
Sign up now and get the Sex and the City Scoop, a free weekly newsletter emailed right to you. It's hot. It's interactive.
Yes.
What's your favorite episode? Your weirdest dating story? The hottest new fashion trend?
You live for fashion.
Log on to SuperstationWGN.com and sign up now. Sex and the City, every night at 11 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Ted Ferguson, Bud Light Daredevil. Today for Bud Light, I'll attempt my most difficult stunt so far. I will stay 2 full minutes past 5 on a Friday.
Hey, Ted.
See you, Janice.
Hey, time! Get him up. Ted, get out. Ted, can you hear me?
I need a Bud Light.
Don't you give up on me, Ted.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Put that on my review.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, McMillan, you gelling?
I'm gelling and zinfandellin, and so's my new bride, Helen McMillan.
I'm so happy my eyes are welling.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are so soft, they make your feet feel outrageously comfortable.
I'm gelling.
You're so not gelling.
Dr. Scholl's.
Crisp leaf lettuce. Fresh vine-ripened tomatoes. 100% USDA choice ground beef. Handcrafted burgers. Ruby Tuesday.
Someone's gonna love you.
The latest Turtle Wax breakthrough in car polish is clear.
Crystal Clear Turtle Wax Ice, a clarified synthetic carnauba that performs like no other polisher wax. Ice leaves no white residue on trim or in seams.
I had no residue whatsoever. It was perfect.
Clear and deep, and it really brings out the shine.
Ice is so advanced, you can use it in the hot sun with outstanding results. Now, your choice is clear. New Crystal Clear Ice from Turtle Wax, world leader through innovation.
12 runs on 14 hits for the Cubs today. 6 runs on 8 hits with an error for the Cincinnati Reds. And I want to remind you, there is lots of availability in the Bud Light bleachers coming up. The Reds will be in town next week, and still lots of availability for that series, April 11th through the 13th. You go toward the end of April, the Florida Marlins, 24th through the 26th. A Friday game, 1,000 seats still available against Milwaukee. And early and mid-May as well. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Or if you're on the web, it's Cubs.com. Standing up and stretching. It's been a long afternoon of baseball. And the Cubs right now with a commanding lead. As Scott Air gets set to work his second inning.
You mentioned earlier it'd be nice to get Ryan Dempster into this ball game, get his feet wet in a non-pressure situation. Hopefully, I think ideally Dusty would like to see Scott Air complete the 7th inning, maybe even get Bobby Howry in there for the 8th, and then Ryan Dempster for the 9th.
So it'll be Air against Hatteberg when we resume. Second base umpire Eric Cooper with a stopwatch out there, and we're ready to go.
Manning the clock. There's one umpire on every crew, one of the base umpires that keeps the clock between innings to make sure that all those concerned have the proper amount of time between innings, but no more than they're allowed.
Air works from the first base side of the rubber. Zambrano went 4 2/3, gave up 5 runs on 7 hits, walked 5, struck out 5, and allowed 2 home runs. He gets a no decision. Will Oman has a chance for a win. Faced Javier Valentin in the 5th, got him to fly to right. Scott Williamson faced 3 hitters, gave up a double and 2 walks, and charged with 1 run. And now it's Scott Air. There's a leadoff walk here in the 7th inning. It was the 8th walk yielded by Cubs pitching.
You know, Len, we talk a lot about when a hitter is locked in at the plate, it becomes very obvious. He's hitting the ball hard every at bat. He's seeing the ball big as a balloon. Now, pitchers get locked in out there on the mound as well. And early in the season, sometimes it's hard for guys to find a consistent release point, especially coming from the Cactus League where the temperatures were very warm, very comfortable afternoons to pitch. And suddenly you're here at Great American Ballpark and it's about, I don't know, 40 degrees. The wind is howling, and it's just seems to be hard for the pitchers today to find a consistent release point. And then you compound that with the very tight strike zone behind the plate, and I think that's the reason we're seeing a high number of walks in the opening game.
Two quick ones on Austin Kearns. Reds trying to snap a streak of 5 consecutive losing seasons. The Cubs trying to erase the memory of a disappointing year last year. But as we discussed during spring training, Todd Coffey throwing in the Reds bullpen. Dusty really likes his ball club. Ramirez knocks it down. Will he have a play? The throw to first late. Good job just to keep it on the infield. That's a hit for Kearns.
I didn't think Ramirez had a chance to get to that ball off the bat. Hit very hard by Austin Kearns, but he was able to knock it down. Unfortunately, it rolled just far enough away that by the time he retrieves it, throws on to first. Watch Derek Lee come off the bag early. It's called a cheat over there at first base. Some first basemen are very adept at it, and they can get some of these close calls like this by making it appear the ball gets there before it really does.
More base runners for the Reds. Neither team has waited until there have been 2 outs. A lot of the rallies have just been started right off the bat. First 3 reached for the Reds in the first inning. You go to the top of the first. The first 5 Cubs got on base. The first 9 Cubs reached in the 6th.
Well, the thing you obviously want to avoid with a 6-run lead late in a ball game, no matter what time of year it is the base on balls. And unfortunately, Scott Ayers started this inning with a walk to Scott Hatterberg. But he could make that go away rather quickly with a ground ball double play right here.
Bounce to Ramirez. He's going to step on third. A lot of time. 5-3. Dropped by Lee. And Valentine's save. A very rare drop by Derek Lee. Telling Aramis that was all me. So that is an error for the 2-time Gold Glover.
We've seen some odd things in this ball game. A 3-5-3 double play, an attempted 5-3 double play, and Derek Lee just dropped the ball.
Ryan Friel is the batter. Strike 1.
Learned a lesson there. I saw the force play at third base when Aramis got the throw off across the infield, and I saw it was going to get there in the air. I put my head down and started to write double play in my scorebook. Well, that's something you just never anticipate.
Derek had one of those late in spring training. Cubs hope that does not hurt them here in the 7th inning. 1 out, 1st and 2nd. Now you can't assume a double play, but I think they've given him the error because he had it in his glove and just dropped it.
Aramis can't believe it. Derek said, "That's my bad. My bad." And we talk about it all the time. You know, your defense is going to bail you out of a lot of jams. Sometimes as a pitcher, you have to bail your defense out. Another ground ball.
Here's 2-2 is just outside. We've seen a little bit of everything today. mostly positive for the Cubs. They lead by 6. Let's pause for station identification.
This is America's home for sports all year round. Superstation WGN.
Bob and Len and company, our producer Pete Toma, Skip Ellison, our director, Mark Brady, our associate producer, our executive producer Bob Horwald here in Cincinnati. Cubs lead 12-6. The last of the 7th. Veteran Rich Aurelia is on deck. I'd see him in the starting lineup at second against a left-hander Rush on Wednesday. Bases loaded. Dusty out of the dugout. Scott Air has thrown 29 pitches. That's a lot for a short reliever. Bob Howery is in the Cubs bullpen. And Aurelia.
I don't believe Rich Aurelia has been announced officially as the pinch hitter. And when Dusty started to make his way out to the mound, you could see some scrambling over in that Reds dugout. Since he had not been officially announced, if Dusty had made a pitching change, Jerry Narron could have left Tony Womack in the ballgame or chosen to go to a left-handed pinch hitter. But Dusty just wanted to meet on the mound with Scott Air, make sure he was okay. And now, indeed, Jerry Narron will pinch hit with the veteran Rich Aurelia. Now, just because the guy's in the on-deck circle or just because he even walks up to the plate, he's not officially in the game until the umpire turns around and alerts the official score.
Strike one on Aurelia. A couple of former Giants doing battle here in the 7th. The tying run is still in the Reds dugout. That's where the Cubs would like to keep him. And at the moment, that would be Ken Griffey. So it behooves Scott Air to throw strikes here with Aurelia and then Lopez. One fly ball to left. Murton drifting toward left center. He has it. Kern's on his way home. And it's 12-7. Valentine tagged as well. He's now at third. So first and third, Felipe Lopez, a batter. Reds have scored a single run in each of the last 3 innings.
Right after Matt Murton caught that ball in left field, he looked up to make the throw back into the infield. Nafy Perez, the cutoff man at shortstop, was out in shallow left field yelling and pointing towards second base. The throw came back into Nafy, and he immediately wheeled around and looked at second to make sure the runner from first wasn't tagging and going to second base. There are certain plays, shallow fly balls or balls toward the left field line, where you like your left fielder to go ahead and make that throw to third base, but most of the time you're better advised to throw the ball into the middle of the infield at second base and hold that runner at first.
Air will throw to first. have to get out the calculator between innings and add up the pitch count for both teams. Both starters threw at least 100 pitches.
This will be the 35th pitch for Scott Air since coming into the ballgame last inning.
The Reds pitchers have already combined for 150 pitches. 158, in fact. The Cubs with over 170. The corner. I'm not exactly sure what the major league average is. I don't think it's near 20, but the Reds in 7 innings, about 160 pitches.
I think the average is right around 16, maybe 17
right.
pitches an inning. It's gone up the last couple of years, but
called strike 3. Big pitch. Scott Air strikes out Felipe Lopez looking. A run for the Reds, but the Cubs lead by 5 as we head to the 8th.
America's funniest home videos. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
It's the biggest thing to hit Hot Pockets bread. We sprinkled cheese on the crust and baked it in for a crispy, cheesy taste. It's the best tasting Hot Pockets sandwich ever. Crispy, cheesy,
Hot Pockets. Bush, come on, Big Bush.
You did this to me! Every bite's a dream. The new lineup of Dream Pie Blizzard treats at Dairy Queen.
Crisp leaf lettuce. Fresh vine ripened tomatoes. 100% USDA choice ground beef. Handcrafted burgers. Ruby Tuesday.
Someone's gonna love you.
I'm 22 for a moment, and she feels better than ever, and we're on fire, making our way back from Mars. I'm 33 for a moment.
The road of life takes many turns. There are over 900 Chase credit cards to help you make the most of every one. Your choice, your Chase.
Have a good day, honey.
Bye, honey.
I gotta see you guys later.
There's nothing routine about it. The 8-passenger pilot from Honda.
Hey, Cub fans, plan your next corporate function or family gathering in the comfort of Wrigley Field's Nuveen Investments Mezzanine Suites. Remember to ask about our April discount dates. To book your suite, call 773-404-2827, or for more information, as always, visit Cubs.com. Carlos Zambrano with a visit to left-handed reliever Scott Air after he came off the mound out there. Probably talking about the pitch before the called strike 3 that was right down the middle if you read Carlos's lips. Probably comparing notes on the tight strike zone today of Jerry Davis behind the plate. Tight but consistent. I will give him that. He's been the same for both teams. Rich Aurelia will stay in, play second base for Tony Womack, and the new pitcher for the Reds, big right-hander Todd Coffey.
Getting that time of the day where he could use a cup. As you had alluded to a couple of innings ago, it has cooled off. And reading the forecast, that was the plan today, for the temperatures to drop throughout the afternoon. Neifi Perez with a fly ball to left. Dunn going into the corner. What's going to happen this time? He has it. A running catch for Adam Dunn. And the Bronx cheer in the banks of the Ohio. Boy, a rough welcome home for Adam Dunn today. Boy,
wow, that's That's what you call using the whole glove. Why catch it in the pocket, huh?
Michael Barrett has hit into 2 double plays, but he has doubled, walked, and scored. And we want to wish a warm 40th birthday to Dave Hobson, big Cub fan. Barrett reaches out. Lazy fly handled by the 10-time Gold Glover Ken Griffey.
I get the feeling the Reds fans have a little different feel when a fly ball goes to center than they do when a fly ball goes to left.
A lot of red empty seats. 42,591. And they were all here when it started. But many headed for the exits after Edwin Encarnacion struck out to finish the 6th. And we've gotten some emails today regarding the Cubs home jerseys, whether or not the names will reappear. And the answer is no. No names on the Cubs home jerseys. They are on the road uniforms. Murton smacks one into right. He is a triple shy of the cycle. And the way this game has gone, he may get another chance.
That's why I think Matt Murton is going to be a good hitter. With a 2-strike count, he waits so long, a pitch up and out over the plate. And that's a bullet through the right side of the infield. That's not just a little blooper. He drove that ball hard to the opposite field. And when you have that kind of confidence with 2 strikes to wait that long on a pitch, you're going to get a lot of 2-strike base hits to the opposite field.
John Mabry now with his Cubs debut. And strike my last comment. I gave Matt Murton a double somewhere where he didn't have one. He has 2 singles and a home run. So he still needs the double and the triple for the cycle. Bounced off the glove of Coffey. He recovers, throws, and gets Mabry just in time. Midway in the 8th inning from Cincy. It's opening day 06 and the Cubs lead 12-7.
Sign up now and get the Sex and the City Scoop, a free weekly newsletter emailed right to you. It's hot. It's interactive.
Yes.
What's your favorite episode? Your weirdest dating story? The hottest new fashion trend?
You live for fashion.
Log on to SuperstationWGN.com and sign up now. Sex and the City, every night at 11 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Ted Ferguson, Bud Light Daredevil. Today for Bud Light, I'm going to be performing an incredibly dangerous stunt. Today, I'm going to listen to a John Tesh CD. In its entirety. Time. Go. Hey! Hey! Oh. Come on, ladies, turn it off! Bud Light! Hey, hey!
Here you go, here you go. Hold on a second.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Apparently the man likes a wood chime.
Previously on Circle of Trust.
I didn't say anything when Rhonda took my lipstick, ate my peanut butter, and stole my boyfriend. But today, she tried to sign me up for Net Zero. I hate them. My Netscape has unlimited internet access and free web accelerator for just $9.95 a month. You know, Net Zero charges you every time you call for tech support. It's crazy. Just crazy.
Get Netscape. Sign up today.
Can you calculate the value of joy? Of romping with your kids on a perfect carpet of green? Can you put a price tag on having an Emerald Kingdom all your own? Actually, you can. A great lawn can increase the value of your home up to 15%. Not to mention the value of every moment you spend there. Scott's. It's amazing what a lawn can do.
Great to be with you here on opening day 2006. I want to give a shout out to our studio coordinator back at WGN, Jeff Carrier, and our great crew here in Cincinnati. It is great to see everybody again, who along with our friends at Trio Video were out here yesterday preparing for our broadcast of this year's opener and the President's Visit. Bob Howry will get comfortable in the 8th inning. This is his spot. And he would love to come in with a 5-run lead every time.
It's much easier to get comfortable in your role when you're spotted a 5-run lead before you even throw your first pitch.
Scott Air went 2 innings. And they did give Derek Lee, as we mentioned, an error on the back end of that double play when he dropped the throw from Aramis Ramirez. But our friends at Stats Inc. have not given Derek an error. I'm not quite sure you can give a guy an error on the back end of a double play because you can't assume that it would have occurred, as Griffey singles to start the bottom of the 8th. Adam Dunn with a man on and nobody out. The leadoff man has been on now for the Reds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the first 8 innings.
Derek Lee over first base was trying to get the attention of Bobby Howry on the mound to let him know he's going to play behind Ken Griffey Jr. over there at first base. With a left-handed pull hitter at the plate, you want to give yourself as much room as you possibly can.
And that squirts past Barrett to allow Griffey to move to second.
That's been ruled a pass ball. Michael Barrett sets up on the outside corner. Bobby Howry jerks that fastball back down low and inside. And much like Adam Dunn in left field earlier, it looked like Michael thought he had that ball up in the webbing of the glove, but went all the way to the backstop.
Dunn has had a good day at the plate with 2 hits, a home run, and 2 RBIs. Jerry Narron was hired on June 21st of last year, replaced Dave Miley, and the Reds finished the year under Narron, 46 up, 46 down. So they played much better under Narron after he was promoted. He was Miley's bench coach. Dunn, oh, what a snag by Hairston on the 1-hopper, and he throws out Adam Dunn.
If Jerry doesn't come up with that play, that ball might roll all the way to the wall in the gap. That is just a screaming rocket 1-hopper. Jerry had thoughts about going to third base there to get the lead runner, but wisely throws on to first and gets the out. Only has time to take about 1 step to his right, and then the high backhanded play, the throw on to Derek Lee for the out.
Runner at third. Encarnacion is going 0 for 3 with a walk and a run. Two and one.
It's hard to believe that these guys we see in the starting lineup, the guys who are regular everyday players, the first 4 or 5 at bats of what will blossom into about 600. That's where that even-keeled attitude comes into play. You can't get too excited for a big day on opening day. You can't get too discouraged for a bad day on opening day, because you're going to have about 596 more opportunities to prove what you can do with the bat.
And on a team level, You had the Oakland A's and Houston Astros both at 15 under 500 at one point. Both got back into the race. The Astros went all the way to the World Series.
And another thing that's a given when you start the season, you take a look at the opening day 25-man rosters on each ball club. You're not going to finish the season with the same 25 you start with.
You may not finish the week in some cases. Swing and a miss. Encarnacion is struck out 3 times.
Boy, with that long swing that he's been featuring today, he's going to be susceptible to those fastballs up there above the belt. A very tantalizing pitch. You think you can get to it, but when your swing is that long, the ball is by you before the bat gets into the hitting zone.
An opportunity for Howery to escape with no damage. Hatteberg bounces it to first. Lee will get it to Howery. Nice footwork by number 62 to the 9th. 12-7.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With more flights to more places than ever before, Southwest is taking low fares even farther. Visit southwest.com.
Southwest Airlines is not just for short flights anymore. We're taking low fares farther with more long-distance nonstops out of Chicago Midway.
You are now free to move about the country.
Hey, McMillan, you gelling?
I'm gelling and Zinfandel, and so's my new bride, Helen McMillan.
I'm so happy my eyes are welling.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are so soft, they make your feet feel outrageously comfortable.
I'm gelling. You're so not gelling.
Dr. Scholl's.
The latest Turtle Wax breakthrough in car polish is Clear. Crystal Clear Turtle Wax Ice, a clarified synthetic carnauba that performs like no other polisher wax. Ice leaves no white residue on trim or in seams.
I had no residue whatsoever. It was perfect.
Clear and deep, and it really brings out the shine.
Ice is so advanced, you can use it in the hot sun with outstanding results. Now, your choice is clear. New Crystal Clear Ice from Turtle Wax, world leader through innovation.
When it comes to our handcrafted mini burgers, no detail is too small. The Ruby Minis are here. 4 little masterpieces, 1 big burger taste. Ruby Tuesday.
Jeff Bridges, Tommy Lee Jones. The action won't stop till the bomb goes off. Blown away.
Friday at 7:30 Eastern.
Big plans to visit Wrigley Field on Saturday, April 22nd from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity as the Cubs will host a Wrigley Field garage sale. Items on sale include bricks from the reconstructed bleacher walls, segments of bleacher benches, and other highly sought-after Cubs memorabilia. Join us for this historic opportunity to own your own piece of beautiful Wrigley Field. Rick White, a veteran right-hander, is on here in the 9th inning. The Cubs have a 5-run lead.
90 hits in 75 innings pitched last year. Rick White, a fastball slider pitcher. He's been around the block a few times.
Pagan is 1 for 2. Pat Hughes on the left. Cubs radio beginning his 11th year behind the mic. Ron Santo, year number 17. You add 14 years as a Cubs player to that. Great to see Ron. Made the trip in from Chicago yesterday, and he's ready to go. I'm sure he loves what he's seen today. In the hole, off the glove of Lopez. Pagan 2 for 3.
Well, you would believe the Cubs are going to shut down their running game at this point, 9th inning with a 5-run lead, but At some point in the very near future, we're going to get an opportunity to see Angel Pagan run the bases aggressively, and that is a sight to behold.
He has carried his hot spring over to at least opening day. It's another reason why Dusty, I'm sure, likes getting guys like Pagan into the ball game. Bunted by Pierre, picked up by Valentin, throws late. Bunt single for Pierre. That's his third hit of the afternoon.
This one's just a little bit softer than the one earlier in the ball game when Edwin Encarnacion made the nice barehanded play. They've got the benefit of a missed call down there at first base. Pretty nice play by Valentin coming out of the chute back there, wheeling and throwing almost blindly onto first base.
Knocks for the Cubs. Bunted by Hairston toward third. Encarnacion to first. And everybody's safe again. Bases loaded, no outs. Sacrifice and an error on the throw by Encarnacion. Second error for the Reds.
Perfectly executed by Jerry Hairston, regardless of what happened on the play. Runners at first and second, you have to force that third baseman to field the ball. He gets that bat at such an angle that the only place it can go is down the third base line. And then Encarnacion's throw in the dirt. Atterberg unable to make the play. Little small ball.
Now looking for some big ball. Infield in for the Reds. They can't give up any more runs. They only have 3 outs to go on offense. This is the 3rd inning today. The Cubs have had the bases loaded with 0 outs.
You take your chances with that any day of the week.
Well, the other 2 they scored 5 and 7. 1-0 from White. Griffey drifting. Just on the track. Everybody tags. Sac fly. And a deep one for Derek Lee. Second RBI of the day. 13-7.
Boy, Derek Lee did not miss that pitch by much. A deep fly ball, 400 feet to straightaway center field. Give him another week and that ball will be rattling around out there on the batter's eye, and 4 guys will be waiting, and 3 guys will be waiting at home plate for him.
You really like your chances to score when you load them up with no outs, especially with these guys coming
for your 3, 4, 5 hitters. Yeah, you do like that a lot.
Gene Kleins loves it. He's saying, Derek, no, we don't need a sac fly. 13 is okay.
Don't change anything. Stay right there.
We've seen 16 walks this afternoon. We got an email from Danny DiStachio watching us in Rome, Italy, where it's a lot later. 11:34 p.m. So, Danny, we appreciate you staying up late tonight.
All right.
Three ducks on the pond for Nafee. He's getting his 3rd at bat. He came in as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning. He's played second and short.
he had a bid for extra bases in his last at bat, hit that ball down in the left field corner that Adam Dunn had some problems with, but was able to hang on to.
Making a fashion statement with his hand pockets.
Sometimes it's accidental. You know, a guy will carry his batting gloves in his back pocket, and as he pulls them out as he comes up to the on-deck circle, the pockets just turn inside out accidentally. Other guys do it intentionally. I'm not sure Nafe's motivation here, but there it is.
I think it's a couple of handkerchiefs. I think it's you know, it's cold out there. Maybe a runny nose.
Cub fans may remember Mel Hall, who used to not only wear batting gloves but carry a pair in his back pocket, and when somebody asked him why he did that, he said that's so he could wave goodbye to the catcher as he started down the first baseline.
Nafe with a ground ball to short. Lopez to Aurelia at second. They'll try to turn it, but Nafe beats it out. So he gets an RBI on a fielder's choice, and it's now 14-7. And Pierre has scored 3 runs today.
Slapping that ball on the ground, running hard. Once again, Nafe knows if he beats that relay throw to first base, he gets an RBI. So getting on down that line.
Barrett pops it up. Back to the seats. Not a lot of foul territory in this offensive ballpark. You get down about halfway between first and third base in a foul pole, and there's very little foul territory.
Yeah, people assume when you talk about a ballpark being very favorable to the offense that just means the fences are short, but the foul ground enters into it just as much. A foul ball like the one Michael Barrett just hit in a lot of ballparks is in play.
Deep drive, Dunn back, warning track at the barrier, just missed. 1 run in, Nafe around third. He's going to score easily, 16-7. So the club record the Cubs set last year on opening day has been matched this year.
Slider on the outside part of the plate. Sometimes you can get fooled just a little bit as a hitter. You can see Michael really extend his arms out there over the plate and had full extension as he made contact and just misses a 3-run home run.
Cubs making the Reds pay again for an error. Encarnacion with that throwing error earlier in the inning. We may need a half-hour special after the game just to do the highlights today. Fast Freddie Bynum, as so dubbed by his new manager, is on deck. He'll only hit if Murton reaches. Lopez out, Dunn in, some hesitation, but Dunn makes the catch. Freddie Bynum going back into the Cubs dugout. Not sure if he'll play defense or not. Stay tuned and find out.
Come to where the unexpected will always make you smile. America's funniest home videos. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on Superstation WGN. Wednesday, it's humor that gets you hammered. Fall into funny with Home Improvement. Wednesday at 9 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Introducing the miracle of fusion, a revolutionary technology and a unique idea coming together to create new Gillette Fusion. Until now, pressure caused irritation. Fusion has 5 blades spaced closer together to reduce pressure, with less irritation and more comfort. Flip Fusion over. A precision trimmer for those tricky places. The comfort of 5 blades, the precision of 1. The best shave ever. In manual or battery power. New Gillette Fusion.
Next week on Circle of Trust.
Look, this relationship isn't working out. I need to change. From net zero.
Look, forget that zero. Netscape can get you online for just $9.95 a month.
And fewer online ads than net zero?
Please, lots fewer. Netscape gives you free web accelerator and McAfee's comprehensive virus protection.
You make me feel so safe.
Yeah, I know.
Get Netscape. Sign up today.
In times of danger and disaster, in times of peace and times of war, in times of joy and times of pain, in every corner of the world and right here at home. We need them, they need us, and we need you. The USO, until everyone comes home. To find out more about the USO and how you can help, visit USO.org.
We have a bunch of good young guys down there, and we add guys like Howery and Air, who not only are good guys, but they're great pitchers, and they're going to help some of the younger guys. And now that they're pitching those later innings, those guys who were doing that job last year get pushed back a little bit. And that, you know, it seems weird at times. It seems like a tough thing for them, but in the long run, I think it'll help everybody down there. And we got a lot of guys who take a great pride in what they do down there, but at the same time, staying loose is what the bullpen's all about. You know, you don't want to go in there. There's pressure-packed situations. The more comfortable and relaxed you are, the better you're going to do.
Cubs closer Ryan Dempster was wearing a Bears jersey, by the way, during that interview. And he comes in the 9th. We'll have to grab the rule book. I don't think this is a safe situation. The tying run right now is somewhere in the Reds clubhouse.
It's somewhere in the Reds minor league system.
Freddie Bynum playing left. Kearns, Nafee. 1 out. Let's see, the most runs the Reds have allowed on opening day. You have to go back to 1877. Louisville scored 24. Pretty potent offensive club, that Louisville team.
Yes, they were. Combination of speed and power.
Strike on Valentine. He participated in a WBC for Puerto Rico. Swing and a miss. Brewers beat the Pirates 5-2 in Milwaukee. That's a final. Carlos Lee hit a 2-run shot in that one. Final in the American League, Red Sox 7, Rangers 3. Swing and a miss. Nasty stuff from Ryan Dempster.
Well, you like to see that when you bring your closer into a ball game like this just to get an inning of work. You want to see his best stuff, and a lot of times that doesn't happen. Good fork ball right there. Had Valentine way out in front.
Andy Abad represents the Reds' last chance here in the 9th. Cubs leading 16-7. Bowman would get the win. And the starter Harang would take the loss. Hop foul, back to the seats. Cubs tying an opening day club record with the 16 runs. A record they set last year. One strike away. It's 2-2. Two-two pitch. It's full.
I was saying around Major League clubhouses before opening day, you can't win them all unless we win this one. So far, the Cubs still have a chance for an undefeated season.
3-2 pitch. He walked him. True Cub fan. He wanted it to end right there. What's going on? Here's Aurelia.
I have to say, even though it was opening day and we talked about the butterflies, if the guys were nervous, they certainly hit it well. It seemed to be a very relaxed, very confident, very business-like clubhouse today.
Derek Lee said flying below the radar isn't such a bad thing. That's a single. Lopez will bat with 2 on and 2 out. Billy Hatcher on the right, former Cub. Reds first base coach. Stay tuned. Our Chevy Dealers 10th inning show follows the ball game. Lots of highlights from this one. Pitch. 1-1. It's encouraging the Cubs not only have scored 16, but only 1 home run today. And stringing together hits, playing small ball, all those things we talked about last year, and the fans talked about in the offseason. The Cubs hope to improve was being better fundamentally and moving the runners over, getting them in with less than 2 outs. This should do it. Perez to Hairston, close play at second, but they get the final out. That Cub fan very happy because it's over. The Cubs have beaten the Reds on opening day. The final score, Cubs 16, Reds 7. Much more to come from Great American Ballpark after this.
Introducing Mountain Dew MDX. Be nocturnal.
The thing is, everyone wants to save money on their car insurance. You asking if they want a free Geico quote's like asking if they want free pie and chips. Of course they want free pie and chips. It's pie with chips for free. But pie and chips, you can get them anywhere. Geico quotes, made from scratch, just for you. Only at geico.com.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We know the HRX is a Honda. We know it has cruise control. We know it has a Xenoid body that's virtually indestructible. What we don't know is, what is this?
It's called Versimo. It goes from mulching to backing to discharge with no attachments.
This changes everything.
I am someone who is looking for love.
assuming real love. It's hard to find people who will love you no matter what. I was lucky enough to find 3 of them.
Sex in the City, 7 nights a week on Superstation WGN.
For the Cubs today, 16 runs on 18 hits, 1 error. For the Reds, 7 runs on 11 hits. They committed 2 costly errors as the Cubs really made them pay today. Will Oman got 1 out, the final out of the 5th inning, and picked up the win in relief. Aaron Harang gave up 9 runs, 6 were earned. He takes a loss. Home runs today, Hatterberg done. Matt Murton, a big one in the 1st inning. And our Budweiser plays of the game, the Murton 3-run shot in the 1st inning as the Cubs scored 5 times before Carlos Zambrano even took the ball. And then in the bottom of the 1st, big-time defense with runners on base. A leaping catch to rob Austin Kearns of extra bases in that opening inning. Right, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer. Our next telecast of Cubs baseball here on WGN will be Friday afternoon from Wrigley Field as the Cubs begin another season at the friendly confines. Suppan against Maddox. Our broadcast day begins at 12:30 Central Time with a half-hour special. Next year is here, followed by all of the opening day festivities on the Leadoff Man Show at 1 o'clock. Then the Cubs and Cardinals at 1:20, all right here Friday on WGN Sports in high definition, sponsored by Comcast. So for my partner Bob Brenly, Pete Thomas, Skip Ellison, Mark Brady, and Bob Borwald, Len Casper, inviting you to stay tuned. The Chevy Dealers 10th inning show is coming up next.
Chicago Cubs baseball, brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Chicago Cubs. Comcast, catch the Cubs home games on WGN in HDTV on Comcast. Call for a great offer. And by Southwest Airlines. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, Southwest can get you there with over 3,000 nonstop daily flights to over 60 destinations. Visit southwest.com today.
What is Budweiser? It's bright,